All right, so
Can I just check something with Retro? What did you mean? Chips in a sandwich? What chips you talking about? You talking about
like people that eat like sandwiches and eat like chips with it. Like
what chips? Are you
potato
talking about
chips?
like chip shop chips?
That actually makes more sense.
Oh no, you fucking British fuck! No, like potato chips, like Lay's and shit.
Yeah,
yeah,
not
those
fries.
are chips. And I'm not
Not
a big
potato wedges.
I'm not a big French fry. I like French fries.
Yeah, of course
A
you
little
have
bit.
French fries. Of course you have a chip sandwich. Just like that's
No, that's why I'm saying that you're British. It's not your chips. It's whatever you call potato
chips,
like
man.
you said.
yeah. We call them crisp. So you call
that.
Yeah, of course you have a crisp sandwich. You put tons of
crisps.
butter. You put
How
tons
dainty.
of butter.
How dainty you call them crisps.
And then you have ready salted crisp. You crunch them up, smash them up. 2 pieces of bread. Nom nom nom. That's like the best snack.
What?
What?
Anyway, let's talk about something important.
Why would you do that?
Let's talk about EA again.
I'm so confused about what's going to happen.
So apparently, what was this? I should have
Had an event.
an actual journalist put together a list with to fill out EA's 7 Switch games coming out.
Two, I
from
think
EA.
one of which, 2 of which are already out, or one of them's already out.
3, one just came out. The other 3 were already announced at EA's EA Play thing, that their E3.
Yeah.
And then this person, who I lost the freaking article. I took a screenshot of the list.
You want me to pull it up? I can pull it up.
I got the list, but I don't have the article.
Oh,
I got the screenshot. But so he talked to developers, and this Valen Studios game said they're working. Through EA, they're working on a Switch game. They confirmed Need for Speed Hot Pursuit's getting a remaster, which is 2010's Need for Speed game, and that's coming to Switch. And then the Plants vs. Zombies guys confirmed that they have a version coming to Switch.
Battle for Neighborville is the name.
So unless that's not the 7 EA wasn't thinking, or they weren't counting the ones that were already announced, he's taken into account that the 4 that have already been announced were part of the 7. Knowing EA, that's probably true. So
we still have one more then, I think.
There's FIFA 21, Burnout, Apex, Lost in Random, Need for Speed, Plants vs. Zombies, and that untitled game.
Madden!
Yeah, so still no Madden, no fucking... some people were asking for Titanfall 2, but I'm like, Apex Legends kind of fills that
void.
Because Titanfall 2's multiplayer is going to be dead no matter what, especially with Apex Legends being out there. So I wouldn't... Actually, they just did the single player and ported that to Switch and for...
And half the price.
Yeah, like $30 or something. That wouldn't be...
It's a great single player.
So, but yeah, so nothing amazing here.
I'll say that.
I was mad because I looked at the frame rate footage for the Burnout game that just came out, and it's actually like a lock 60 and everything, and I was like, cool. And then I went and looked at the price and went,
not cool.
Plus it has a...
and then you know what made it worse, T? I found out it was like $5 on Steam, and I was like, bro. And it's like $50 on Switch.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
And it's digital. Isn't it digital only?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I mean, if we're being for real here, Steam always has the lowest fucking.
Yeah, I'd go by what PS4, Xbox One version.
At least make it 20. I think I would.
Those versions are $20.
No, I think I agree. Yeah, for sure. But I just say in terms of like Steam, well, no one's ever gonna get as low as Steam in these damn prices.
Also, was there some kind of showcase today? From Jeff Keighley?
Well, yeah, because I think that's how Crash was announced.
No, Jeff Keighley announced had his stream today, and I forgot
all
about it.
Yeah. He had a little about Crash and
because Crash is good game.
Yeah, who needs E3? We got Jeff Keighley.
And there's a Last Airbender game.
No. Aang is a playable character in the game. It's
in
not...
Crash 4.
No.
Because this screenshot looks as good. It looks like the most.
What's the game? I haven't heard of it. It's called.
It's like a multi. Yeah, he's a playable character. What is it?
Oh, really?
Because with B or something. I can't remember.
Oh no, I can get it.
That footage looks like if they redid the animation for the Last Airbender in HD. Which
it looks good. Yeah, his model looks great.
Is it Smite? Is that what you're talking about?
It's not
Smite.
I don't think-
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
Smite
might-
adds
yeah,
Smite
yeah.
adds avatar characters to mobile
Yeah,
lineup. Yeah.
it is Smite. That's right.
Is that
Oh,
I
that's
is that a
lame.
mobile game?
I am busted in my head.
No,
this
no,
week.
no, no, no. Smite is a huge one of the PC.
Yeah, Smite's a popular game.
Crash 4 looks like
To be fair,
trash.
Smite might. Yeah.
Hold up. Whoa, wait a minute.
I didn't
So,
see
man-
that either.
What is
Yeah,
it?
no,
What?
I
Crash?
thought Crash 4.
No, you didn't see the trailer?
Graphically
No.
looked all right, but at the end of the day, it still looked exactly like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's still pretty much like the older Crashes, except probably a little spectacle and a little bit more looseness with like.
Well, I
the
was
3D
laughing at Jeff
environment.
Keighley because
Well,
he's like,
well,
you know,
well, yeah, I
you
mean, that's
guys,
just-
you know, you can see loads of years of innovation in this game. I'm like, Jeff, come on, man.
And what?
Come on now.
Crash?
Well, no,
Yeah,
you
in
know,
Crash.
you,
Fuck out of here.
no, you know
Yeah.
what's funny in that thing that Jeff, I remember, yeah, Jeff was saying, so you know, obviously he tried to almost kind of spin it where it's like, so obviously it's very classic style. It's like, so what new things? What else did you add? Like just the way he says it, it just because no, it is very they're not wrong when by saying Crash 4. It is a fourth, you know, in that type of way. That type of gameplay is the same, you know, which is cool. Hey, I don't mind. But like I just think it also shows like, damn man, really a lot of these older platformers just cannot go to that Mario status.
Well,
man.
no, wait, yeah, I did say in my tweet, I didn't actually mention the game, but like you got all these Crash Bandicoot fans, right? Who love Crash Bandicoot. They only love the PlayStation 1 games. They pretty much abandoned the PS2, the GameCube, and Xbox eras and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And then you had the one Crash Bandicoot game, Twin Insanity, I think it was,
Twin Sanity.
which went full 3D in its level design. And
Yeah,
no one fucking played that game. Now,
Nobody bought it.
whether the game was trash or not, you know, it doesn't matter. The fact was,
I mean, it was okay.
Crash
I didn't think
tried
it was trash.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
Crash
it's like
tried
it was
to
the
go
only
full
okay
3D.
game of the new gen. of
It looks
Crash.
like I mean, the jumping looks just as far. It looks even worse than in the Insane
it's
Trilogy.
no different. It's Crash Bandicoot. That's
No,
it.
that was some janky looking stuff there. I don't know if something was wrong with the trailer, but
Why didn't Crash talk?
he didn't even land. Like he jumped 4 times and didn't even look like he even
And then
landed.
the thing that makes me laugh at the end of the trailer, they say, "So wait, there, you fought this guy how many times? Only 3 times?" And they pretend that it's only ever been 3
That's
Crash
even though,
Bandicoot.
even
Yeah,
though
they
it's
just
been
don't-
multiple.
This looks
Yeah,
like
they-
a fan made. Watching these jumps in succession. If you're watching the stream, this looks fucking terrible. This looks like a mobile auto run game on a mobile.
I don't know
What the
that.
fuck
Oh,
is
wow.
with
It
this
ain't
jumping?
that bad.
Yeah, that's
No,
crazy.
like this section specifically, these jumping sections specifically.
You're saying that like the way
just
way
how
she
like
kinda
there's like
jumps real quick and
she's
shit.
super fast. There's like no animation to it, and it's just like
It's not what it
no
should
skill involved. Looks like just
be.
timing.
It's
the
not
jump.
what it should be. It looked
So-
like they just took the engine from the remaster, took that engine and just made like a
Trailer.
really generic Crash
Although
game.
for
with
some
it.
reason they
Well, this boss
redesigned
battle looks
Crash and
decent.
Coco again.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That boss battle I really like.
That
That
looks
whole,
cool. Like the jumping looks right there. I don't know what is with those two.
you know what? Well, maybe it could just be that character that you're having a problem with.
Well,
Oh,
it
he's
was
talking about
crashed both
Coco?
times. It was just it was a similar section, and both times it looked just off.
No, the other one's Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's Coco,
And,
and, then
they say like you know, yeah, you know, now you can play as multiple characters. You play as Coco in Crash Bandicoot 3.
And you play it in what's
like that
three
looks
called?
janky as
used to-
fuck.
Yeah, you used to play her in like certain
What the
sections.
fuck is this?
Yeah.
Let me pause
new.
this.
I know, man.
What is with this
I'm not
character?
seeing what you're seeing.
What is
Yeah.
That's like saying,
What,
oh, you get
this?
to swing on ropes for the first time.
He looks
I mean,
like
that's not. I think that's
from
not
that
real.
angle. From that angle, it looks like when you first saw Sonic the
But-
Hedgehog, you were like, "What the fuck?" Man?
What's up, Craig? But yeah, but I'm saying like his animation looks way
It's a little jank.
janky. Like
Well, it's
You think? I don't know about that.
the boss battle one where he's jumping over like the DJ, fighting a DJ. Probably
think
got
that's
that
more
from
like-
Splatoon, but
that's more of
That's what I'm
them.
saying. It's not as smooth
it's
and
so
as
stiff looking at right here. Like,
polished as it should be. Like,
that just doesn't look right. But anyway, I'm not gonna buy it anyway. But
Different studios, you know, making different.
I
games.
guarantee it won't sell as well as the trilogy sold.
Well, probably not actually.
I don't know.
well, this
How much did the trilogy? I
don't
think
know.
it did sell very well.
I
right?
think that
Like
the
30
trilogy
bucks.
gave everyone
30
what they
mil.
wanted, and then when they were reminded,
Right.
they were
Oh,
like,
so you
"Yeah,
know how
okay."
much it sold.
So these were the good Crash games. I don't want this other spin-off trash.
So what
It
else
looks, it
was
looks
announced?
better than Sonic the Hedgehog 4, though, doesn't it?
I think the main
Pokemon
things.
Snap.
No, that was last week.
No, during the during
Oh.
Jeff Keighley's thing.
Oh,
That's the only thing of note that really came out of that.
I think
Really, this was.
I don't know what else he announced, but
Yeah, I didn't hear anything of anything.
dude,
else.
obviously this is big though. I mean, look, 1.5 mil views. It just came out earlier.
Yeah, Dude, you understand the two major things that people were looking for today was Smash and this. That was it. Because this game had already leaked like a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
They already had images and ERSV ratings and stuff. So like, technically, sorry.
he butchered the ESRB. This is
It's English. I don't like English, man. English is my enemy.
Well, let's get to this awesome animation.
I
first.
dude, I literally no.
I prefer Ebonics.
I can't get this. I can't get. Oh,
This animation.
it's such a good theme song, isn't it?
This reveal
is so
trailer's
good.
up
One
there.
of the best ever.
Like, it's funny that the first thing you see is the police arms guy getting knocked out. I wonder if that was intentional or just complete coincidence.
I'm pretty sure
He has a name.
Because it sounds like
Who links that shit?
I didn't think about
Well,
that.
Hey, we
Just
call
put
that
the-
a stretch, Juice.
just put that together.
Shit.
I wouldn't have figured that out myself. I didn't notice it. But this animation style is really cool for like
It's
like a
awesome.
series. I wouldn't watch a whole. I don't know about a whole movie. This feels more like a TV series style.
I done a video on that just now.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What's it
I
called?
think Collected is taking T's place with that.
I know he's in. Stole my
Look
style.
at this Captain Falcon sucking the ramen noodles. Oh, that's just.
I love it, yo. Look at this fucking dude just sucking that noodle. It's great.
And at the end, he's standing where
Wow.
Min Min was.
Shut up, T. I already know what you're thinking.
So who
And
was
then
the
you got the girl. You got the
As
girl.
if Robert wasn't thinking that.
who was
no, he
the,
wasn't. I don't think he was.
who was the most excited for Min Min?
Oh, I was.
Dude, I was
I was
hyped as shit.
As long as it wasn't Twin Tail, I was fucking happy, and I was like, yes.
Wait,
I said
wait.
Min
You
Min
don't
would be
like
my
Twin
second
Tail?
choice.
Twin Tail doesn't make sense considering her battle style is she's very similar to Bayonetta in terms of her abilities and
What?
yeah.
They should have picked Twin Tail for Juneteenth.
They literally could have done the same. They could have done the same moveset as her. Like they all could have been essentially the same moveset.
What I'm saying is that Min Min's like secondary abilities, like the ability to like kick versus the other arms characters, lends itself.
No, yeah,
to
I get what you're saying there.
Then
but
essentially
I don't-
mimicking Bayonetta with her ability.
I don't
to
see
slow down time.
Bayonetta though, and it's like
Really? She
Twin Tail
fights
has
with
that
her hair.
mechanic.
She fights
Yeah,
with
what,
her
what does
hair.
that have to do? What does that?
She has that like
I'm saying-
mechanic to like pauses time, doesn't it? Or,
No.
what is Twin Tail's like special thing?
Posing
Uh,
Yeah,
time.
she had a slow motion thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I
you
don't.
said Mechanica.
No, Twin Tail has a
No,
mechanic.
you said mechanic.
Does she really? Okay, then
Oh.
I don't remember that at
Yeah,
all.
Twin
to be
Tail- well, you
again,
never
I
used
really
her.
remember, I only played as Min Min in the fucking game.
You also
Plays
played
one
the
goddamn
only,
character.
yeah, you only played the
I
same
mean,
two
like,
arms.
I think
too.
it's obvious that because
Yeah.
I think Min Min is the most popular. I didn't like what Sakurai said the way he's like. Well, I mean, it's true, like there's no real main character,
No,
but it's
none.
not like people considered Springman a main character. But there's a difference between having a main character and like the what do you call it? Like the poster boy shit, like
Yeah,
main
I mean,
character. That
arm,
makes
yeah.
it kind of a main character.
But to Sakurai's defense, he actually confirms that the ass producer said he wants Min Min.
Mhm.
No one
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
He,
Yabuki
They
prefers-
picked Min Min because he's Japanese. This is bullshit.
I thought that was funny that he's like, yeah, it's simply Yabuki. What?
Yeah.
Said
Yeah, Yabuki.
said he
Yeah,
wanted Min
Yabuki.
Min. That was awesome. But check out old
Dude,
Captain
I
Falcon
met
here in the
Yabuki,
background.
dude. I met that fucker.
For some reason, a lot of people on Twitter thought this was absolutely adorable
It
to
is.
see the Captain Falcon like took her ship.
The whole
while she went to
animation
get
was
smashed.
fucking perfect.
Oh no, this animation was great. I love the animation.
I forgot to check a Samurai Golda picture. I can remember what completely what he looked like. I'm thinking, yo, man, because I was getting F-Zero hype, obviously. I'm like, man,
Yeah,
this
so
is-
the emphasis, I was going to say the emphasis on Captain Falcon means it's going to be an F-Zero game coming, right? Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm not-
I mean, he's in the
Look,
trailer, so.
Listen. I
I'm-
do want
I'm
to quickly
getting
throw
hyped
out.
Well,
I
at
do-
the
I
same,
really-
at the same time, we've seen Captain Falcon now in two Smash reveals as a character fighting other fucking. I'm just like, yo, come on, man.
He's not even that popular of a Smash character,
I'm
but
not
but
saying it's hinting, but they
Yeah, but
use
he's the
him-
most mean.
They use him so much.
Man, they dedicated a whole fucking section to his voice voice
Yeah,
actor and
that's
all
true.
that shit.
That's
Listen,
very true.
You can't tell
Oh,
me.
you guys know like the super obscure notes why he has a final Smash? Because in the original game, Captain Falcon, he's like 10 minutes you talking about fucking Captain Falcon.
No, you know what that,
Sakurai
you know
is
what that means? You know what that means? That
Now, what is
Sakurai
this? I'm
needs to make F-Zero.
confused. What is this photo here?
This is Sakurai's game
Oh, this is Sakurai's
his
yeah,
consoles
game
and-
collection.
That means
Oh.
Sakurai needs to make an F-Zero, yo. I think he could be. I would let Sakurai touch anything, really. That sounds bad.
Jesus,
I
dude.
didn't watch the whole thing. So
All right.
Yeah, he actually has. He has what is that? Switch, Xbox.
Yeah, let's break this
One,
down here.
Yeah, no.
Switch,
dude,
Wii
has
U,
everything. Come on. let's be
Xbox
real.
One X,
PlayStation 4
PS3,
Pro. Looks like.
PS4 Pro, PS4 Original, PS3 Fat,
You don't need all that
Famicom
shit.
Mini,
It over there,
You
buddy.
can't say nothing, T.
Super NES, American.
you need three versions of the same goddamn console. Come on.
Hey, look, you gonna hit
I don't
on
have
that.
that.
You're gonna
Man,
collect
when you're
it.
Is this the
balling,
mini
when
Genesis
you're
CD?
balling, it doesn't matter.
That's the Mega CD.
Yeah, he's got all the minis.
You don't got to be balling to have this setup. I'm not too far away from that. But what I'm saying is,
Don't get me wrong.
Look how
I'm like,
clean it is, though.
I'm like at the same point where he's at essentially too, but like I don't have multiple of the same consoles.
right? That's what I'm saying. If you got a PS4 Pro, do you need a regular PS4?
Well, he says he likes
Man,
to
some
have.
people just want both consoles. All right.
It don't make sense.
Well,
Hey,
to
I
be
mean,
fair,
that-
He's got two
Yeah,
PS3s.
Like,
he's
he's still a
fair.
game developer. He might want to be like interested in seeing, oh, what is this upgrade bringing? You know.
And however, no,
He's
not
got
even
two
that, not even
TVs.
that. Think
Listen,
about it.
What? What was that excuse?
Listen,
No, no.
listen. He's got
Okay.
the two TVs, right? Because he says he plays split screens, two TVs when he has guests over. So
Yeah.
he might be lining up his two
Mhm.
PlayStations or his two Xboxes or whatever. So one person's on one screen and one person's on the other. That's how he plays. That's what he
Nobody
says.
does couch co-op on a PlayStation. Get this shit out of here.
Mortal Kombat, yo. Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah, he says he
Maybe
likes to have each person have their own screen. So.
He likes fighting games, so maybe he plays like Mortal Kombat X, you know? Something
And
like that.
I wonder if this is like some kind of cable.
He couldn't
box.
afford two. He couldn't afford two of the same size TVs.
Oh, damn.
Let this man live his life. How dare you?
You point out-
Damn.
That's a nice
got
setup,
him.
though.
I got him.
That's
You
a
made some of the
major
best
flaw.
games in the generations of gaming. You let this man
I like
go
how
with his-
clean it is, though. I like
It
that.
is clean. I'll give him that. It is clean.
That's a
It
nice.
is clean as fuck. My shit is dusty.
He ain't gonna be able to fit no PS5 in there though.
Why she got tumbleweeds rolling by?
PS5 would take up this entire fucking.
He's
one
got
of
He
these
can put
bays.
it on the desktop all the way on the
Yeah.
end.
Wait, Juice.
Yeah,
Juice,
shout
here's
out to the
question.
mini consoles. Good on him for that.
But
PC
Juice, here's the
engine.
question.
What else he have
What
over there? I can't.
What does
All
he
the minis.
replace? What does
What?
he
Oh, yeah,
replace
Sega.
for the PS5?
Oh, that's
I'd
true.
get rid of this old PS4. That's where I'd start.
Those
Well,
aren't the
well-
mini consoles, I don't think.
Yeah,
Well,
they
first
are.
of all, I'm surprised Nintendo didn't.
There's three of
censor
them
the
in an
consoles.
opening.
Nintendo didn't
that's
say,
true.
"Hey, don't be showing no
There's-
other competitors' consoles."
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
I think
surprised.
Sakurai makes enough money.
If you
to be
put
like,
two of
"Alright,
these
it's fine."
Super NESs together,
No,
it's
but
about as
usually
wide
you
as the
can't-
PS3.
No, because they're not the. I don't think they're the mini consoles. I mean, and also because I saw the bigger screenshots, his Mega CD, he's playing Space Harrier 2, and I don't think you had those fake cartridges for Space Harrier 2.
You
You'll have-
download it, you get
No, he's actually got the cartridge. He's actually got the
Sakurai's
cartridge.
hitting up them ROMs.
He's got the cartridge.
Here's the answer. The original PS4, that this section here, if you're looking at the screen, is about the size of a disc. The disc drive's right here.
Yeah.
And that's about just a little bit smaller than his Famicom here. And to me, I think the original Famicon's wider than basically a disc drive.
Where's he gonna put his PS5? Ain't no room in that setup. Oh.
I think you need to pick up your SNES Mini and have a look because those are not mini consoles.
No, that's definitely. Actually, you know what? You're very.
Oh, wait a minute. No, those aren't
That's
many.
not
Look
a-
at them
that's not a
compared to
big-
the
Yeah, that's true because
PS4.
minis would be really small.
That would be a lot smaller than the PS4.
Damn, so this man actually just has it set up. I wish I don't have that set up.
I mean, you have to have the classics and the modern consoles. That's what you.
I wonder
what's,
what he has
No,
What do you-
well, to be fair, like
converting them to HDMI.
most of us, I would argue.
now you know
probably
it's
have
like, let
that
me see
set
the
up.
back of your TV.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on in the back now.
Yeah. I'm sure he paid some professionals to wire that up all nice. And
You don't
clean.
think he would have been interested enough to do it himself?
I think
I think he would. I think he'd do it himself.
Sakurai's a humble man.
And you could tell he really loves Joker because he was excited about this amiibo.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking amiibo. I will
You know what pissed me off
It is-
about the
it
Amiibo
does look
section?
cool.
Though? He mentions how Zelda and Ganondorf are still in their old designs on the Amiibo.
Mhm.
I know.
Like, and I'm sitting there like, are you going to announce the new designs of the Amiibo? Nah, here's
He
Joker.
says it with such a fucking smirk on his
I'm
face.
glad
I'm
he
sitting
did
there.
that.
"Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
because
we're getting a new Zelda."
I know you know. You fuck.
So what do you think of the me costumes?
Hero.
Yo, Dude, when we saw fucking the Vault Boy from Fallout, I saw that animation. I was like, Fallout? What? And it was
I didn't even see the
Vault
Tekken
Boy.
one.
Oh yeah, the second one I think it's from Wii U. I think
It's just
Okay.
Archie that they used in the previous.
yeah,
Smash
I'm pretty
as well.
sure that's from Wii U.
It's
I'm
the exact
surprised.
same one, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh, Sakurai showed everything on IGN behind the TVs and everything, according to Rakia. So,
It's the same shit.
Oh, did he?
mm-hmm.
Damn,
Oh,
I
I
didn't
kind
know.
of. I might
Send a
fucking-
link. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yo,
can
this
post a link.
this fucking
Yeah, I'm like low
yo,
key.
these
When I go
Cali-
Yeah, I
look.
gotta go check that shit out.
Idiot.
I'm interested.
Kelly and
These
Cy-
two look
Marines
scary
are
as
cute.
fuck,
Yeah,
by the
they're
way.
scary as shit, dude. They're
they're
terrible.
less scary than the Inklings were.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
look
they're
how
scary
fucking
as fuck.
bulky. Look how bulky these dudes are, yo.
So
You know
do
what
you
the problem
think?
is? They're more realistic proportions, ironically enough.
No.
Do you think?
Yeah. Have you
What?
seen the Callie Marie have like these weird football heads?
The faces
Oh,
are really.
Hey,
no,
dude
I'm
has
not
a big
talking
ass
about
head.
I'm talking about the bodies, dude. They're fucking built, dude. They're much
Would
bigger.
they say
Vault
they're
boy?
they're more like Abby from the last?
Yeah,
of
that's what I
part
was
two?
thinking, yo.
Oh god.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You giving a Vault boy no shine? Get that shit out of here.
Like, what the
Hey,
fuck
man,
is he
I will.
doing in here? Like,
And,
get the fuck out of here!
That's the only character that would work.
Get this
I quite
trash
like Fallout.
character from this trash fucking
Whoa,
developer
whoa,
out of
whoa,
Smash
whoa.
To be
Brothers.
fair, people like Fallout.
Can we get
They just
some
don't like
Fallout
New Vegas.
representation?
Fallout 4, dude. Fallout 4 is great.
This is the
Can
lamest.
we get some Fallout representation on Switch and not that bullshit cell phone game?
That is very true.
I
That is very
agree.
fucking
No,
true.
I need that too. I said
Most
that.
people would prefer New Vegas, from what I understand.
Right,
I
because
see
New
it a bit
Vegas.
more as like a. I see it a bit more as like a Bethesda rep or anything.
Yeah,
Fuck
but they don't
Bethesda.
deserve it.
They
Nah,
deserve to be
That's
wrecked.
got to be the weakest.
They don't deserve it, you know.
Is that?
They
Is
don't
that?
deserve it.
First,
man.
they were one of the first to support.
deserve it. That's what
They
I
were
wanna
one
know.
of the first to support the Switch full throttle with
So is-
all
No,
this
what do you mean
shit.
Full throttle?
What? With
Full
what?
throttle.
Port?
With,
Full
How dare
throttle.
you?
I would say
Not full
half
throttle,
throttle.
but dude,
Come
come on.
on, boys. You have like Doom
and Doom
consoles at the
Eternal.
same time. You had like Skyrim that launched like only a few months after the
Skyrim
other
is a
consoles.
port.
The
You don't
full
count.
remaster.
No, no.
Oh,
Skyrim
is a port.
Wolfenstein.
Skyrim, a 20-year-old
They're
game. I
not
could
gonna fucking
understand.
retcon this shit. Bethesda was there in the beginning for the Switch, man.
Yeah, but not full throttle. I mean, where's the?
They
new
were
games?
there. They
Where
had
were
like
they-
4 or 5
where were they
games
for the
before they
Wii
even
U?
had 4 or 5 other developers.
Where were they for the Wii U? Huh?
They're ahead of other
Yeah.
third parties, but I wouldn't consider it full throttle.
Yeah. So was Konami at one point. that doesn't mean a damn thing right now.
We don't talk about that.
So Sakurai
Konami
showed
had a
his,
new game on that bit.
That is
so
true.
he showed his skills using playing as two characters simultaneously again.
Oh, he's that
He's done that
motherfucker.
before. He's done that before, though.
yeah, no, it's
I
he's
love
even
this
doing
weird-
counters.
I-
He's doing counters and like with one fucking hand.
By the way, I love this. I love this.
is he
running
using
gag
a
with-
what was that? An Xbox controller? What the fuck are you
No, that's Pro Controller.
That's the Switch Pro
Busted.
controller.
You son of a bitch.
Where's it at? That's the Switch Pro's controller.
No, I was gonna say
Calling
is
it.
one of the
Yeah.
running gags I hate that Sakurai does. He does that thing where he has the reveal trailer, and then all of a sudden in his background you see a picture of that character.
Yeah,
Like you now
is
see
that
the Min Min
photoshopped or
poster
did he
behind
put
it.
that up?
No, he put that bitch up, and it was I don't know why. That's just funny to me. This man walked
could-
behind his couch and was like, "Hold up." There we go. let me
He's
put
like,
this
look at all
down
this
real
equipment Nintendo sent me, and it was kind of a. I don't know if he was being funny because it wasn't that impressive of a.
Yeah, I know that was so weird.
Here's
Like the cheap ass
here's the
tiny
equipment.
bike.
They set him some cables, a mic, and tripod, and a camera.
I know.
I mean, to be fair, most developers don't just casually have that shit in the house.
He did a good job though. I mean, not everybody's a video person.
Mhm.
His
Yeah,
lighting
I
is
mean-
good. Everything is clean.
He's made a mistake though in his audio setup. He's got some plants in front of his speakers. That's going to cut down on the audio.
Oh god.
So-
Oh
my
god.
Oh, come on, bro.
Oh god.
No, this.
Don't be that guy.
You guys watched my video when I told you that story that
I knew he was gonna be
guy
this
at work, his parents, oh, come over, help him set it up. And I came back a couple weeks later to do something else, and she had like solid photo, wood frames in front of the front three speakers, like completely blocking them. Like, no,
What are you doing?
like you said, you couldn't hear the voices. Here's why: you got fucking pictures in front of the speaker. What did you expect?
Dad, no, that's dumb.
So ever since then, and my mom did the same shit. She just unplugged the center channel speaker to hook up her winter, Christmas village, And she's like, I can't hear people talking. Well, you unhook the speaker. What do you like? Seriously. Anyway, so that's a bit of a little pet peeve of mine. But what he's got, that won't affect it at all. So yeah, overall thoughts on Min Min.
What is that camera? I'm trying to figure that camera out. What is that?
Not sure. Probably a Sony. He's got a Sony TV. He's got 2 PlayStations. I didn't see the. Did he have?
And Sakurai's a pony. Goddamn.
He had a PlayStation 1 too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not surprised. Like, I know a lot of people point
to me a pony because I got every single Sony.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so do I. It's called a joke, guys. Don't cry.
No, it's funny because I always see people like in the in the tweets that people are like, oh, well, damn, Sakurai has a PlayStation and an Xbox. I'm like, dude, why
wouldn't he?
Why do you not think he'll
He's a
have?
I don't
gamer.
understand. Yeah, well,
The dude's a gamer. He's gonna have fucking anything and everything.
I bet
he
you
can
Phil
play.
Spencer has more than one Switch. And
he know
PlayStation.
Nintendo. He know Nintendo ain't got enough games on their system, so they got to do something else.
Wow.
Speaking of,
There's not enough variety on the GameCube. I got to go get something else.
in just over a week, it'll be the 8th-month anniversary of the last Switch game I bought, Luigi's Mansion 3.
What is happening?
Wow.
Hey man,
Congratulations.
I'm gonna say, this is your.
You didn't get
fault, yo.
Clubhouse games?
Shut up, T. Shut your
What?
goddamn mouth.
Yeah,
Clubhouse
no,
games is good, yo.
That ain't jokes.
You
dude.
think he was
Fucking
gonna buy
Clubhouse is
that?
dope.
Do you think Juice was gonna buy that?
Well, but that's
No.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is that what I was thinking is that, like, at the end of the day, they're giving quality games. They're just in
Yeah,
different.
you got to
genres.
expand your horizons, Juice. What's wrong with you?
Unfortunately, Juice doesn't care about them. That's just the
They've
thing.
given a quality game, I will say that, this year.
Animal Crossing and fucking Clubhouse, dude, and then again, you even
Clubhouse.
got fucking Paper
Xenoblade
Mario.
Chronicles, yo.
You got Paper Mario
Well, that
coming
hasn't
out.
out
If you
yet.
That's quality.
coming out
How
next
can I have
month.
bought it and to end the
What's-
streak if it comes out? in
What's
a
not
month?
out?
Paper Mario.
Paper.
No, I'm not shitting on Nintendo. They put out a AAA Animal Crossing game and one of the better remasters we've seen.
And what about Clubhouse? Where's your
that
props for Clubhouse?
dude? Doesn't that the board game one?
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
no,
I've been playing those damn board games my whole
No.
life. Like,
We can't.
And why would you play them by yourself? It's like you don't really
is there
have to
online
solo.
multiplayer?
Yeah, you could play online multiplayer.
have-
I
Yeah,
played-
it's online. Yeah, it's online.
Still
I
not
played
good
on
yet.
stream with the dude for the whole night. We played,
That
and
sounds-
dude, it's genuinely a lot of
You
fun.
played on stream with the dudes for the whole night.
Yeah.
I got into the tabletop scene a couple years ago, and I was all
Did you
in.
both stream or just him?
God, dude.
Paused.
Did you play the
We
rabbit
had to cut
skipping game?
all this shit.
I would say
Yeah,
that
cut my mic.
I'm sure it looks like a quality collection of board games, but
But it's not
Oh, it
only
is-
board games, my guy.
Yeah, it's not only board
It's
games.
got like shooting range and fucking fishing and like, dude, it's
Yeah,
got
it's like Wii Sports, the new
where
Wii
we
Sports.
play.
Where we play, right?
To a pitch for fucking Clubhouse games.
No, but what I'm saying is there's no
And it's
disrespect
$40.
of Clubhouse in this Clubhouse.
And it's only $40. So
Yeah, and it's only $40.
I don't know. I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
and I
with
think
just
quality.
Robert played it the first time you played it. That was the last time you'll play it, I bet.
Nah.
no, he's gonna be streaming it with the dude.
Yeah, him and V are gonna stream it again. You'll play it one
You
other time.
ain't shit, bro.
Yeah, but even if this is the problem, though. Even if I did play only one other time and I put in, let's say,
You
even
would choke.
fucking 10 hours, that's 10 hours for only 40 bucks. The fuck, who cares?
So on another note,
Yeah, just move on.
I finished
please.
Doom Eternal. I beat Doom
Oh,
Eternal.
you did?
And then I'm on the last section of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And I gotta say, it's gonna be hard to top both those games for Game of the Year. They're fucking both just absolute top notch. I
That's
mean,
because you haven't played Animal Crossing yet.
As
I
Jim
knew
Rome
it
would
was
say,
gonna happen.
they're phenomenal.
I mean, Doom Eternal, I don't know how. I feel for Panic Button. I don't know how they're going to do that final boss fight on the Switch. I just don't know. I mean, it's just, there's so much going on. It's impressive. It's intense. My fucking eyes, my right eye was just like getting, I look in the mirror, it's like bright red because I couldn't blink because, I mean, there's so much. And I put it on one of, not the hardest difficulty, but I think it's the second hardest. And I had to take it down a couple times early in the game before I had like my health and armor up a bit, and then I finished the game on. Oh, maybe I did drop. I don't know. I might have dropped down permanently. It was on Hurt Me Plenty, I believe, which maybe is the middle one. Either way, that final boss and the one before were just devastatingly hard and just intense, man. I can't believe the reviewers who like dude from that guy you like, T. He's been doing videos from his basement. Him his dog.
My
Is that the ones that read Barty?
No, it's
Well, he's been.
What is his name? Yeah.
He reviewed it back when it came out, and he said he did basically in 2 days. He crunched it, and he said, I wouldn't recommend playing the game this way. It's just so intense, you know, and it's like, it's just drains you. And I could see that because I thought I was on the final level on like Thursday or Friday. And then it was like, finish the chapter, and then it started part 2 of the same name for the chapter. And it was like part 2. I was like, oh shit. Well, I'll start again tomorrow, finish it tomorrow. And I beat that chapter, and then I went to another world. I'm like, holy shit, I thought this was going to be done. And then I knew it wasn't the final boss. I was like, all right, I'm going to take a break, come back the next day. I had another not as big section, and then the final boss fight. And I was like, just those last 3 or 4 chapters was, I'm guessing, close to 6 hours probably. And I mean, that's not even a quarter of the game.
Victor Lucas from
Electric something.
Electric Playground.
Electric Playground. Yeah, so I'm glad I took my time. I kind of stopped playing for a little bit there when I got a little distracted with other things, and I didn't play for a while. But man, that game it's definitely better.
Did you never watch E-Play?
No, I never did.
Back when it was on G4?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
But I would say overall Doom Eternal is definitely better than the first game. There's a lot more. The environments are a lot bigger, a lot more to explore. A lot of the platforming stuff they added to the way you move around. It's just it's a game changer, man. I can't wait to actually start it again. But I'm probably gonna wait. Obviously, I'm gonna finish The Last of Us Part 2 and Ori. And Ori's phenomenal too. I kind of wish I didn't stop playing it because it is that good. Who's this person in the chat? You love Will o' the Wisp now? What do you mean? I loved it before. I just took a break from gaming.
No, you said you couldn't play it, and if you remember in the beginning,
Yeah,
I just said it was
you
a
had
little
real big
depressing
issues with
right
it.
at the start of the when the virus thing was really picking up steam. I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. Plus, I got distracted with the home theater renovations.
No, you said there was something with the frame rate or
Oh,
something.
the
game
Xbox.
itself, yeah.
The base Xbox version was unfinished. I played on PC, and then they actually patched the Xbox, which I don't give that as an excuse. I'm glad they fixed it, but I could have played it on PC the whole time, and I just wasn't really in the gaming mood for a while. But yeah, it's I would say it's so close to not like Hollow Knight as far as overall quality of that type of game. I don't know if I could pick one over the other for which one's I think's better. They're that close to me, and it's phenomenal. So we both came out in March, and I just kind of been taking my time, and so I finally finished Doom Eternal, and I'll probably have Ori beat by tomorrow, and then I'm gonna focus on The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm actually considering getting Shantae in this Siren, whatever it's called.
7 Sirens.
7 Sirens.
Yeah.
Because I hear that's pretty
Clubhouse
solid.
is a better
Come on, you
user
guys.
score than Last of Us 2 does. Just saying.
It's funny. I bet if we looked up any game that wasn't had a lot of publicity. What the hell? Why can't I say that word?
Dude, English is a bitch, man.
I can't say that word.
Publicity.
Pub. Why am I saying
Hey,
pla?
listen, I don't give a
Publicity.
The puh and the blitz.
Well, I was saying pla. I don't know why. I bet if you look up any game, any decent game that wasn't hugely anticipated, I bet the user scores will be way higher than any major big tier, highly popularized game like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The user scores are always people just hate when a big game comes out. They just review bomb. I don't know why.
Dude, it's not about it being a big game.
It's just a big story thing that pissed a lot of people off. That's
Yeah,
it.
no. I mean, I there's a big difference between something like, I mean, because something like Sword and Shield got bombed, and a lot of people are pissed that the national decks and shit. There's always a specific reason. Whether the reason is warranted or not, it's up to you. But like for Last of Us, it's very story reason, and I get why they're saying it, but at the same time, I'm
well,
like,
there was
no,
review
no, no.
bomb before the game before they played
Well, because it was leaked.
Because they already all knew. They already knew the story thing.
Yeah.
Then we get back to that topic. All right.
It's almost like it was controversial.
It's almost like they read the story because they were never planning on playing the game anyway,
Oh, that's not true.
and then they review bombed.
I don't know.
People said they
do all
literally
this
weren't.
shit again.
People said they weren't gonna buy the game.
Let it be,
because-
man. Just let it be. There's a lot of
It just-
reviewers who play the game who I've watched, who like Last of Us, and are super upset. It
Yeah.
can be both. It can be both.
It's also
That-
because
Yeah,
Last
there's
of
some
Us-
I'm
people
not
that are just
debating
being
that.
bitches.
I'm just debating. I can't accept the people reading spoiling a story-driven game that actually wanted to play the game. Like, we're really anticipating it.
Hey man, I get.
I
would
don't
never do
understand
that
how that's
personally.
surprising.
I don't
I
understand.
would
I
never
don't.
do
I don't
that
get that either. It's like people.
Why is it?
That
why
makes-
does-
Some
I mean,
people
that literally
don't
makes
like
no
spoilers,
sense.
but some people like
Yeah,
them.
some people
care.
just want to know.
I know. I just can't. I can't.
My mom, my wife were watching a movie that she knows I watched, and she's enjoying it. Oh, they'll ask me, both of them, what's gonna happen? I'm like, just watch the movie. No, I need to know because
that's-
so that I mean,
I haven't known a
a lot
girlfriend
of people do that.
I haven't known a girlfriend or a mom that didn't do that ever. So
Okay, so now you're agreeing with the premise. Which is it, bro?
no, I'm saying I think that's a
Are you
female
saying
thing.
only
I
That's
think
a female thing.
Alright, I'm gonna get the female shit
so-
back to
sexy.
So females don't play Last of Us?
No,
Is
I'm
that what you're
talking
saying?
about your
Sexism.
example of you. They know you've seen a movie before. They're watching it for the first time, and they ask you constantly what's going to happen. That's,
Okay, but I don't know why you're separating that. They play games too.
Nah, well, it's the same
Maybe-
thing. I know people
yeah,
that,
it's not
that
like
when I
because if
work
they
at
went to the
theater-
theater, let's say it was.
And it's not a female thing. A lot of
Let's
dudes.
say it was the new
But that's what I'm
Twilight.
talking about. You're generalizing and shit, bro. You need to cut
I
that
don't
shit
know,
out.
I don't know. I guess I don't really watch movies with other guys that often anymore. Like other than like a theater setting where you're not talking. When I'm watching a movie, it was with like ex-girlfriends or my mom, and I used to watch a lot of movies. But either way,
So you're saying
if it was, let's put it more in
Let's
sticking
go.
with your mom or your wife, if she went to the new Twilight was coming out and stuff, they're watching the movie.
he picked
You're
Twilight.
making it the most.
This is a masculine bullshit.
Whatever.
going on here.
Something they're excited to go see. What Hunger Games? I don't. Harry Potter.
Hunger Games or Twilight. Do you hear that, ladies? That's what you like. Oh, wait a
Harry
minute. We
Potter.
don't have any ladies that watch our channel anyway.
They're not. They're probably not like, oh, I want to know how that. How the Harry Potter's gonna end. I'm gonna look it up beforehand. Like that would be the equivalent to The Last of Us, I think.
I just gotta.
Not asking you what's gonna happen.
You have
in a
a
movie.
very narrow sample size you got going on there.
It's just I think it's just human nature. If the person next to you has already seen the show or movie, to well, what's gonna happen? I think that's a completely separate.
No, I would never do that.
No,
That's
man. I'm
not
sorry,
actively
bro.
going online and reading the end of something. To me,
We'll just let Juice stay in his bubble, man. Leave him alone.
We need to move along.
I'm glad I don't live in a bubble where I want to spoil stuff for myself. I'll say that.
I mean, hey, but I mean, it's not
All
a
of this
bubble
is so
either.
fucking ironic considering our main topic today, but let's just move on.
That's not ironic. Again, I said it in the chat. Like, this has nothing to do with The Last of Us Part 2 or any details from Last of Us Part 2. The main topic is talking
No,
about.
just spoilers in general, I feel.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know what you meant by that
Just
being ironic.
move the fuck on.
Yeah, we're moving.
Move on.
What was
move
the other
And I'll
thing?
just say, real quickly, that I'm a guy. Everybody knows me to be a guy, right?
Mhm.
I think.
I mean,
and I
is
was
that-
watching.
Do you
I was watching a
identify
show
as
that my wife watched before me. The show is Ozark, and I asked her how was it end, because I was really I was really wanting to end it. I was really anticipating what was going to happen, and it just drove me insane. So I had to know before I continue watching it. So guys, do it too.
All right.
I knew he wouldn't do it.
Just saying, bro.
I knew
Just
it.
saying, bro.
All right. So what else? What else was shown? Someone brought it up earlier. There was another like announcement earlier.
Oh, well, Clock put it in the chat that the Red Dead Dawn developers got bought by Facebook.
Well,
No,
no, I
that's
thought there
not-
was
that's
another
not
stream or
right.
something Robert had thought we were talking about.
What?
The what?
Remember we were talking about Jeff Keighley's and you brought up.
Pokemon Snap.
Oh, yep, that was it.
Oh yeah, the Pokemon stream from what was that, Wednesday? Yeah, last Wednesday.
Something like that. Or Thursday.
Yeah.
No, Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
That was probably the most interesting thing then, and then the announcement of another direct, which is happening on the 24th.
Pokemon motherfucking Smile.
I hate when you do this, bro.
My kid's gonna be using that shit, bro.
Considering it's free and there's no in-app purchases.
That's good shit for us parents out here.
Well, how can you put in-app purchases in that? You know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
listen.
You can put in-app purchase in everything.
There we go. Retro said it.
Yeah.
I guess
that,
you could
that would have
decorate
completely
the
bombed
design
if they tried to
or
put.
I
in-app
guess to be
purchases
fair,
in
yeah,
that.
you would buy other I guess designs for whatever's gonna happen or something.
No, so they announced 3 things. It was Smile, and then it was Cafe, which is another mobile. Actually, it's a mobile and Switch game, which is literally just a cafe
It's
sim
this
with
puzzler
Pokemon.
thing.
I mean, great. It looks cute. I like it.
I
mean,
like the
visually,
art style a lot,
yeah, but
looks
I
really
mean, it's
cool.
a cafe game. Like,
but it's
I mean,
nothing like. Well, I don't think there's really a genre called cafe, but it is a puzzle game.
Yeah, it's a puzzle game. Sorry.
Which
then,
one is a puzzle game?
This
It's
cafe
Pokemon.
shit.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Cafe is what it's called.
No, isn't it cafe something else? Isn't there more to it?
Yeah,
It might be cafe mix.
Cafe poo.
Cafe Mix. You're right. You're
I
right.
Cafe poo.
It's Cafe Mix. You're right.
But hold up, Nintendo, didn't they just kind of announce that they're getting tired of
That's
doing
the
this
other
cell phone
thing I
games
was
and then they
gonna do,
drop
yeah.
all this shit?
That was another thing I was going to
Yeah,
bring
well, I
up.
mean, to be fair, Pokemon is not really. Pokemon Company kind of does their own thing.
They does their
But
own thing.
Nintendo,
They
is
does
that
their own
official
thing.
that they
I don't
said
know
that?
about
God
that,
damn
though.
it, dude.
Nintendo obviously Nintendo has to greenlight this shit too. They can't let them just make whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have their hand in everything.
I think they
I
can
mean,
put
they
whatever
have
they
their
want.
hand in it. I
What's to put their
mean,
hands on them graphics?
Why did T, your icon disappeared?
Yo, I thought T dropped out,
But you're
he's
still here.
talking. How's it possible?
Oh Jesus!
No,
Wait,
it's-
is he out now? He might be out now.
No, he is out now.
Oh, okay,
So,
that was creepy.
Is it
Okay,
100%
Oh, he's
official?
back.
Why didn't they just remove me from the call?
No, you're like
That's
your
what we
icon
did.
left, but we could still hear you, and then all of a sudden you were gone.
It removed me. It said you have been removed from the call. Did I say something wrong?
It wasn't me. I don't even know if I have that
Juice
option.
got mad about that.
I don't
general
have that
relationship
option.
from earlier.
Juice stealth sniped me out of the fucking call. That's what
I
happened.
can mute people.
It was all part of the plan.
I don't even know if I can mute you anymore now that it's not the live stream because it doesn't bring up an option when I click your name. Interesting.
Well, I mean, you don't have to
Change
mute
it.
him really anyway.
Well, no, I used to at least I had the option before, and now it's gone. So
You used to do it occasionally if we got too loud. I think he used to mute a couple of us.
it's just because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell somebody
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
got some noise coming through while somebody else. Is
Oh no, I
in the
would. I mean,
middle
I'm just. I
talking.
was just mentioning.
And
it
then
as
I'd
a thing.
send
I
in the
get
chat,
Because you used to get cut off a lot, huh?
and then I.
Stop playing, Terrell.
So
Shut
I
up.
didn't know we were. I didn't think we'd talk
God
about
damn.
the mobile games this long. I didn't even know there was the other ones. I just saw the Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap
reactions.
was the biggest thing because
Yeah, I mean, that was easily the biggest thing.
that, and people also did the obvious comparison of holy shit, why does this game look better than Sword and Shield? and then the kicker was we found out it was developed by Bandai. Bandai developed that game, and it was like, oh, that explains.
Yeah, because they look way too good for Pokemon.
Oh, the shit looks gorgeous
For
And it looked-
Pokemon
and if it has-
standards.
It's a little unfair because obviously Pokemon Snap is a rail game, basically
Yeah,
a
that's
rail
true.
shooter,
That's
and
true.
so the world is
I don't wanna
very.
hear that.
I don't
No.
think so either. I don't think that's the case either. Because I just think
Can I
it's bad
finish? Can I
info.
finish? Can I finish?
No.
But still, Pokemon Sword and Shield should look much better than it looks. It didn't need to be, it doesn't have to look as good as Pokemon Snap, but it should look much better than it looks. But we'll get away from that. We'll leave
Where was that?
alone.
Somebody had that side by side. It was fucking hilarious. The tree from Sword and Shield, and then how Snap is so vivid. And I know you can't just go explore the world and stuff, but just from the art direction
The
standpoint.
worst
Art
meme
direction.
was the worst meme was when the meme originally came from people making comparisons between Last of Us and Breath of the Wild and saying, "Come on, Nintendo, do better." And then someone did the same thing with Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Sword and Shield and go, "Hey, Game Freak, do better." And people were like, I was like, bitch.
Well, it looks
Well, it
better
is a
than
little
the
bit
original.
funny that the sequel to an N64 game doesn't have N64 trees like Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
That's so
for
true.
that one.
That is so true.
I mean, yeah, visually it looks way better. There is no comparison.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pokemon Snap is just so
I hope
much
it has.
fun to play.
I will say, I hope it has the same.
Ooh, the
kind of,
water
like,
comparison. Oh,
the fucking nuance. I hope the nuance is there like it was in the original game. And what I mean by that is
that
like
water
you
looks like.
could throw apples and forget what the balls were called that like agitate Pokemon.
Buster balls.
I want to be able to throw
Yeah.
balls.
Did anybody
I knew
else
this was
think
gonna happen.
Wave Race when they saw this fucking water? Like, man, I'd love to drive a jet ski on that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the water looks really nice.
Looks like Mario
yeah.
Sunshine.
I just hope it has all those little gimmicks where like for example, if you threw an
Dolphin
apple,
Mario Sunshine. Dolphin.
oh Jesus. But I hope it still has some of those little gimmicks, like where if you threw an apple near a slowpoke towards the water, it would stick its tail in the water and it would evolve into a
I
slowpoke.
Yeah, I
think
hope
it's
it
gonna have
does
a lot
that.
of that shit. Yeah.
Because that shit was so cool that you could do certain actions and it would trigger like little
Yeah,
events.
I'm sure it'll do stuff.
The
Again,
game was way deeper than when I first started playing.
Actually,
I
yeah,
was like,
because you could knock a Charmander into like the lava.
Yeah, I was
and it
gonna
would come
say
out
that
of
one.
Charizard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool shit that can happen in some of those levels.
Well, the best
It was-
part is the name. I mean, it's so creative and
look
original.
how dry that shit look. That shit look like
New
dry.
Pokemon Snap.
you couldn't.
Yeah, that
just
name
do it.
though.
They
yeah,
couldn't
that's-
come up with something else.
I,
mean,
think that had to be a Nintendo suggestion and then not Bandai's.
Like,
No, Bandai's just like, fuck it, we just making the game.
I thought it was a placeholder name. I was like, they ain't calling it that.
Yeah.
You were
God
shook.
damn.
You were shook.
Yeah,
Like, fuck, the pre-orders are up.
I remember
God damn it.
I sent out a tweet, once we saw that Pokemon Snap, and I was half joking and half serious, and I posted like 4 GameCube games. I think you, Rob, replied to one of them. I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
look at the environments that they were doing on the GameCube, and then compare it to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And people are saying, Sword and Shield was embarrassing. When you look at Pokemon Snap, I was like, no, Sword and Shield was embarrassing when you look at GameCube games. Because it's really, when you look at the outside world, honestly, it's really, really that bad. In terms of
Yeah, like Gale of
AAA
Darkness and shit like that shit destroys it.
AAA game, it's just stupid. But yeah, Pokemon Snap looks nice. But even that could still look better. But it looks nice, and I'm excited to play it again. My wife was crazy excited. She loved the original. Once I introduced her to Pokemon Snap on the N64.
Ironically enough, I think that would be the Pokemon game Juice you would be the most interested in doing because it's literally a game where you take photos.
Yeah.
And you love taking photos, so
mhm.
A
don't know why that was
dreary ass,
funny.
drab ass, dreary game. So why not a nice, colorful one?
I got 300 photos of Breath of the Wild and about 100 of Gravity Rush 2. But yeah, I get you.
Lightning said everybody's being disrespectful to me. Thank you, Lightning, for pointing that out.
What? Who's being? No one said anything. No one even said anything. Did
They
you?
disrespecting my authority.
So, all right, let's the main topic, if you want to call it that. I want to get to questions too.
What you want to do first?
We'll let's get to this topic first, and
All right.
it stemmed from a blurb from a reviewer. It was a negative towards a Last of Us 2 review, and it just struck me because immediately I thought of 2 games, and then I was like, oh, there's got to be a lot more. I personally don't play a lot of story-driven games, so I couldn't really think of another one that was like as good as the other 2, where the game makes you're doing something as the character that is heading in a bad place, or something you don't want to do because it's going to end badly for that character or for the story, but you have to do it because you have to finish the level to get to the rest of the game. You can't not do it. And that was like the basis of this person's like negative for The Last of Us 2 was stemmed around that concept. That was basically the big flaw. And I was like, well, that's an interesting way to look at it, because there's like I said, 2 games immediately popped up in my mind, and I was like, oh, I wonder what if other people have some games. So I asked if you guys could think of a couple games where you were playing the game and you knew on your first playthrough, like, man, I don't want to be doing this, but I have to get to the next level, So if anybody has one, otherwise I'll start with the one I have. That I
Does it
got one.
specifically be on the first playthrough?
It kind of is important. On the second playthrough, it's a little.
Yeah, because you already know.
Yeah, I got one.
No, because I won't say anything about
You could
it.
make
There's
it. You could
certain
specify it
certain
was
games that you only learn of certain things maybe after you finish it like 4 or 5 times.
And also, there's with the nature of video games, I've triggered those events and then immediately restarted the game to see if I can stop it.
Okay. Yeah, if just specify if it was a second playthrough, because if it's a second playthrough, there's a couple more games that immediately I could list. So go ahead, Retro. Let's give us your second playthrough one, and then.
Well, the one that had because I wrote down 3, but the one that had multiple playthroughs is in Tales of Symphonia. Therefore, I don't know if this is kind of what you mean. In Tales of Symphonia, I played it 4 or 5 times through it until I learned there's a specific main character of yours that can actually become a villain in a way. So he during the game, at one point he betrays you, and then he comes back because he needed to betray you so you could like finish the game. That's kind of what it's about. But there's a specific event you can trigger, which is kind of annoying and weird to trigger. If you don't know it, you're gonna miss it every single time. But that makes this character a villain, and by doing that, there's specific items you get and other characters come back that you need if you want to 100% complete the game. And I played the game several times over and I never actually completed, and then I learned, like, wait, I have to trigger this event, I have to fight this character, even though he's one of my favorite characters, I have to actually make him a villain, kill him. That completely changed his entire story, what he stood for, because when he betrayed you to help you, that kind of was a redeeming factor for that character. But if you make this twist, it means he actually betrayed you because he fucking hated himself and the entire world. But it changed the whole story that you needed to do it in order to, get different stuff that you couldn't else complete the game with.
All right, and so since on that regard, I would say BioShock, the first BioShock, fits that bill on the second playthrough. Now that I know everything I'm doing I know people just pick that game up probably for the first time, so I won't go any further. But you're doing things, and you're like, after the first playthrough, I was like, I don't want to. Can I get out of this? Can I not do this? But there's no way around it. So,
I wrote down 14 examples of what I feel.
Well, that's good, because like I said, I think the people who played more story-driven, more RPGs type games probably had more examples.
I don't just have RPGs here, but I got a good mix of games. But I'll pick 3 when it's my turn, just to let you know.
All right. So T, you said you had one, right?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to. I can't remember the damn name of the game, so I'll come back to that one on my other pick. But Rhyme, and it's not really a choice. It's just I get to a point in the game where everybody, where it's gonna go, and you're like dreading it. Like I was pretty much really enjoying the game up until this point where I was like, oh, that's what's gonna happen, and I don't want to spoil it. And you get to the end of the game and like it breaks your heart if you have a heart. It's like, oh, I was right, and this is terrible, but it's kind of beautiful at the same time, So
yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's basically right up the. That fits the bill perfectly. Clocked, why don't you give us one of your 14?
Okay.
Give us 2 at once, or I don't know.
Okay. First one I'll choose is in Final Fantasy VI, where I think this falls into what you're talking about. So basically, once Kefka destroys the world, this is the big scene. Once Kefka destroys the world, you wake up as Celeste, and she's with her. I think yes, granddad at this point, granddad Sid, and basically he starts getting ill, and you have to go and get him fish. And you'll go outside while he's lying on a bed. You go outside, you see fish in the ocean, and you see the slow moving fish or the faster moving fish. The faster moving fish are the healthier ones, yeah, and the slower moving ones are the poisoned ones because the world's all dead. But no matter what you do, even if you give him the healthy fish, it drags it out for a bit longer, but he still dies. Right? So when I first done it, I was like, oh my god, I killed him. I got to stop it. And then I realized the difference between the fish. So I reloaded my save when I first done it. Went back, I just gave him the fast moving fish. Made no fucking difference whatsoever. Sid dies, and you're basically given a choice just to prolong or quickly kill him off. And it's quite an emotional scene. And the music's great, you know, the writing is great, you know, it's a great scene. But yeah, so I don't know if that falls into the bracket where you know something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, you know you have to do it though. You can't do anything about it. And another game, just quickly, was quite a funny one. This one is the original Echo the Dolphin. And when you first start off Echo the Dolphin, you're swimming with your family, the pod and stuff. And in order to progress, you basically need to activate the storm by jumping out of the water. And when you first done this, you know, the noise is crazy. Like, they're like, they all fly off in the air, and then you're just alone in the ocean. I was like, holy shit, I didn't like that at all. It scared me the first time I played it. I remembered it. It really scared me. So I reset the Mega Drive, started back up again, and you swim right across the level, and the level is blocked. You cannot go any further until you activate that storm. And I remember just swimming around for ages saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to kill off my family and send them spiraling across the thing. I'm not going to do it. But you got no choice. So you're forced to basically almost kill your family in order to progress to the next level. So that was my second one. That's definitely up.
Yeah.
Right
and then quickly for my third one, just quickly now, is Shadow of the Colossus, where you know exactly as you're progressing what is happening.
You can stop talking. That's my number one.
Okay, sorry. Go on. Okay. go on.
I thought you were gonna name 3 lesser ones, but that's fine.
I got another lesser one. Another lesser one.
Well, we'll come back. Come back.
Okay.
All right. So
Tired of your voice.
that is definitely that was definitely my number one. I'd say it's about not even halfway through. I was like, man, I don't feel like this is right. I shouldn't be killing these things. Like something bad's happening, you know, because you get. Every time you kill one, you get that shadow thing takes over goes in your body and stuff. I'm just like, I don't want to keep going, but I want to know what's going to happen. And it's just I felt bad every time because it's kind of a sad music at the end, and it's just like I don't know. For some people, they might not have saw the ending coming, but I was just like, I don't want to kill these things anymore, you know. So I don't know. That's probably how you were going to say too. I'm guessing you felt the same.
It's not that I didn't want to. Initially, you started feeling sorry for them, but when you got to the last Colossi, I felt at this point, they should have given you an option. This should have been a double-ended game, where they should have given you an option not to kill the last Colossi, because you could see what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
The character could see what was happening, but it was a forced narrative. That's not bad, because I loved the story of the game.
Yeah.
But given the context of the game, how the story was progressing, and how the character himself was realizing what was going on, and what he was essentially bringing into being, it was no longer to sacrifice himself, and he could see that this could also bring about the end of the world. And I don't think he would have done that, because then that would have been bad for what he was trying to do for the game.
Yeah. That would probably have been a good choice to give players the option, and then you could replay it and choose the other option. on your second playthrough. That's probably actually a good
maybe
idea.
maybe just try to kill Dormu in your dying state or something. You know?
Yeah, I never even thought of that, but that makes perfect sense now that you said it. You should they should remaster that game again and add that. So Robert, do you have any? Was there any games you could think of?
So I mean, I don't know if I'm sure I've had that feeling over the course of time, but the only one that really comes to mind is The Walking Dead season 1, the Telltale, with the I don't know. Do we talk about spoilers? I mean, to be fair, it's been how long now?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
That's why I said this in the beginning. I think people should just assume there's gonna be spoilers when we talk about.
it's not like we're talking about brand
you
new
say the
games.
game and people are like, "Yeah, there's gonna be spoilers." It's like,
Well, because you play as Lee throughout like the whole fucking game, the whole season 1, and he's a great character. Then all of a sudden, as Clementine, you basically have to kill him. There's like, and that's like, what the fuck? He gets bit and all that shit, and that shit was sad. He's like, oh man, nah, not Lee. We can't kill Lee. We can't kill him. You have to be the one to shoot him. Or technically, I guess you could, I think, like leave him or whatever. But you leave him, he turns into a zombie, and then he wants to die. That's the whole point. And it's pretty fucked. And you're like, oh god damn it, come on, Lee. Why the fuck you gotta get bit? And yeah, probably that. I try to think of other ones, and I'm looking at my shelf. I don't know if I'm sure there are other ones I just can't.
Well, if you can think one, let's see if Terrell has one. Now, I just want to say first, who here thinks that talking about 20-year-old games is spoilers? Other than retro.
To me, everything is a spoiler. If somebody didn't finish it, didn't see it, didn't play it, it's going to be a spoiler.
We're not getting into this again.
I think it's always a spoiler. I think I do.
It's going to be a spoiler for somebody, but
But it's like it is
too
what
bad.
It is.
Yeah, if you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus by now, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's why
you ever played Final Fantasy VI?
I didn't say the exact ending of the Shadow of the Colossus.
No, but if you haven't played Final Fantasy VI by now, I'm sorry. It's been on this every platform.
That's not even the ending. I mean, it's a plot point
still.
of the game.
But
that's just a plot point in the game.
But what if you're like 15 and you're going to go back and play it for the first
like
time?
me, same, I actually have Final Fantasy VI written down that I'm going to play one of these days.
Not everybody is, old like us, Juice.
I know.
Damn.
You got to draw the line somewhere. Like
I'm just messing around.
Luke
Just say spoilers.
Darth
Vader
Vader
exactly.
is Luke
What
Skywalker's
exactly?
father. Spoilers. Like,
The irony is that mine's is kind of an in-game spoiler. It's actually the first Bravely Default. If anyone's played that game, and I don't want to drag mine's out,
you don't have to go
essentially
into detail.
I beat it.
Essentially you're awakening crystals to kind of like save the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing that happens during that part of the game is that time loops and shit resets and certain events change. And it happens a couple of times. And by the time it happens like the third or fourth time, you're kind of like, something's not right, because you're also getting kind of like a countdown. I forget in what way. But every time you loop time, something else is happening in the background. And part of me
was so annoying.
Yeah, but see,
I nearly stopped the game at that point.
Yeah.
My friend said, continue, man, continue, trust me.
Yeah.
I continued with it. I'm glad I was, but my God, it's not a great part.
It's not a great part. But what bothered me about it was why is it here? Why is it structured this way? And then when I realized, and then they kept throwing in hints. Every time you loop time, you get a little bit more of a hint about it. Now, here's the thing. Essentially, looping time, you don't have to do that to beat the game. You actually could, you just would get the bad ending, or what you would consider the bad ending if you just played the game straight out. If you keep looping time all the way up, you get to the true final boss.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be the one of your companions is the true final boss. Like, they're the one that's been harboring. They're essentially gaining power every time you awaken these crystals and cause a time loop. And that creates the final boss. And by the time I hit like that last day or two, I was like, this is gonna be some shit. Because I was overly concerned. When you got me looping time that many times and killing people and killing bosses and reawakening these crystals, at a certain point you start questioning, is this supposed to be the right thing you're supposed to do? Obviously there's level of annoyance because you're essentially refighting a bunch of shit. But at the same time, story-wise, I'm like, there's only one reason why you would do this, is if it's aiding somebody. And when you get to that final section of the game and it happens, I was like, fuck.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I was playing Bravely Default, I love the game so fucking much. It looks fucking beautiful, great 3D, awesome battle system and shit. I got to that point. I think I looped it, and I'm really thorough, you know. I'm the kind of guy, you know. I grew up with Final Fantasy 6. I hit A on every fucking corner to see if there's a hidden item, you know. I want to fight every boss, do every fucking thing. And I was playing Bravely Default, and after 3 or 4 times looping, it's like I can't do all this shit over and over. I'm not joking. I bought that game when it launched. I played it to death. I came to that point. I still haven't continued it from this moment. I just fucking, it's so annoying how much you're doing over and over, and it's so often. And I'm just like, I can't do this.
That is true.
That's kind of getting in the realm of doing like kind of. It's definitely doing something you don't want to do, but if you have to do the same thing over and over,
it's a combination of doing it for the right reasons and then doing it for the wrong reasons.
And
the right reason is you want to continue the story. The wrong reason is it's kind of fucking annoying to keep doing it over and over.
Yeah, because I don't know that more is going to come out of it. In my mind, if the game doesn't tell you this, you're just doing the same fucking thing.
But it's not like you have to.
Are you fluffing up this game or some shit?
You don't have to.
The only reason, because you don't have to keep doing. You actually could just skip it and go and just beat the game.
You know, but that's why I say, because I didn't kind of I want to do everything. Like I figured there's a reason they're doing this and shit, but it's still annoying.
So I was thinking,
you're essentially powering up the final boss. That's the short version, and you don't realize that until literally you get to the end of the game.
Okay.
But at a certain point, I was kind of like, "Oh, this is not going to end well," because you can't have me looping this shit up like this, and then I'm expecting there's probably going to be some sort of consequence. Spoiler: there was a consequence. The boss in Bravely Default is hard as shit. By the way, has 3 fucking forms and it fucking And then also we lose a character. That was another problem.
So because you loop it, it powers the final boss.
Yeah, like I'm not. I don't want to get.
So is there a difference?
Let's not get too deep into that.
That's why I tried.
Well, I just want to ask: is there a difference between like if you don't loop at all and versus is there an actual difficulty difference?
Yes, very much.
Wow. Then wow, that's because cool.
because you're unintentionally powering the final boss that you don't realize is the final boss until
that's funny.
The 8th day comes and you're like, oh.
Oh wait, hold on. Can I do one more?
Because I got 2 more.
Is fucking Spider-Man. I don't want to do those stealth sections. They're trash.
Yeah, the Mary Jane.
I think
every time I saw Mary Jane, I was like, oh fucking hell.
But you had to get the
But
story.
you have to do it.
That fits
right
in with the.
Well, there's some games.
Does that lead to anything bad?
They're that bad though, especially when you get to be Mary Jane and control Spider-Man, and you see him in the background walking on the walls and shit. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that doesn't lead into.
No, you control Mary Jane and then you turn back to Spider-Man. You don't go back to Mary Jane. So
no,
it's just playing
I'm talking about there's a specific moment when they're in
that hall, right? That big like.
The train station thing. And you control Mary Jane, but you have command actions to Spider-Man, and you see him move around in the background doing what you told him to do.
But that's like 5 minutes, dude. It's like that shit's like 5 minutes.
All right. Cool. All right, here's the next one, because that's like a game forcing you to switch the play styles up to something that you're not enjoying. Kind of like I didn't love Mario Sunshine without Flood in those sections, kind of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it's not like the thing you did led to change something bad happening in the story. Where, just like the example I'm going to give is. It's just straight felt wrong doing, and you could skip it. What is Modern Warfare 2? And I honestly think Infinity Ward should have been, I wouldn't say sued, but they should have, that fact that they thought they should put a mission in where you're undercover with some terrorists and then you go into that airport and you're just gunning down civilians. Like they thought that was a level that should be in this game. Yeah, you could skip. After the backlash, they added the option to skip it. I'm like, why? But before, their initial idea was just have that make that a level. Yeah, you don't have to shoot anybody, which I went through the level not shooting anybody. Just other than
what is.
But I just don't understand why they thought that was appropriate to put in a game, and why they forced the player to play that section until they took enough heat. They added the option to skip it. That was.
What's the point of those games that give you like the false choice? Because I know Witcher does it, Witcher 3 does it, Witcher 2 and 3 both do it. Where it's like, oh,
say you're about to get into a brawl or something at a bar.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, you can, make a choice to not fight the guys, but then you make that choice and it still end up fighting fucking guys. It's like, what was the point? What was the point of wasting my time with this?
It's the cheapest fucking shit. Don't make me think I have a choice when you don't have a choice.
I hate when
that's so stupid.
When the choice you say no, and then you're like, and then the next option is just yes or no, and then no. You sure? No. Yeah, I don't want to do it. You sure? And then you have to just say yes. It's just stupid, but
yeah, it's just dumb.
The other one would be Grand Theft Auto 4, if anyone played that long enough.
Yeah.
Where you have to choose between two very likable characters. You have to take one out,
right,
or the other, and it's like
GTA 5 does it too.
It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I wanted to finish the game because someone loaned it to me, and wanted to get it back to him, and I was just like, that's a terrible choice either way. That's stupid. Why? I know that's like, in life there's tough choices, but not quite like that. It just felt to me like, why are you forcing me to do this? It's
like, kill the black guy or the white guy. Which one you gonna pick?
It was the white guy. That's what I chose. I don't remember who the name was.
Exactly. It's like, whoa, GTA with these choices, man.
But because I think with him, I think he ended up with.
Wait a minute, 5 does the same thing.
Do they? I didn't.
No. They're both white guys. Sorry.
I don't think I got that for 5. So Robert, you said you had another one.
It's racist.
What?
Did you say you had another one?
That's the Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man was your other one.
No,
I got another 2 older ones I could use.
I got one.
Go ahead, T.
Clocked it. You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the game. All right. So I'm a huge fan of film noir, and I'm a huge fan of cyberpunk. And you put that shit together, I bust a nut. And so there's this game called State of Mind, which if you follow me on Twitter, when I got this game, you knew it because I put 1,000 pictures up, all kinds of stuff when I was playing this game. Love this game to death. So they make you make a unbelievable choice. But some games are really good at giving you that ambiguity. What is it? Ambiguity.
Yeah.
Wow, Jesus. So they build these characters, and then like it's really a hard choice. And so, spoiler alert, it's pretty late in the game, but it doesn't change the game. But basically, the game asks you to choose between your wife and your girlfriend. And it's really because if you know film noir is structured around a character, a protagonist that has flaws, that has some deep flaws, and that's the best film noirs. So there's always that weird choices, by the good guy, the so-called. He's the good guy out of all the bad guys. Basically, he's the best of the bad guys that you're playing as. So it's rough, and it's a rough choice because there's flaws in the girlfriend. Obviously, there's flaws in the wife, but it's like, that's my wife. I can't choose. But then it's so messed up, man. That's all I gotta say. But I chose the girlfriend, just to let you know. But it's so messed up that you pretty much kind of have to, in a way. Because if you don't, spoilers, like I said. Does anybody here not want to hear it? Because it's a good thing you might want to play.
Go ahead.
If you choose the wife, you're basically, and this is gonna sound messed up. I don't even know if I want to say this.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say it because
now you gotta say it. What the hell?
You choose the wife, but she's kind of like, basically she's half brain dead at this point in the game, and because of choices she made, and so. Because the game is about you finding your wife and your son, because they just disappear, and then you go on this journey to find them, and so you basically are making a choice. Like if you want to live with somebody, basically she's gonna be like special needs in a way, and it's just like, but that's not the only thing about it. Why you're making that choice that made the choice for me, it's messed up, man. It's really you got to play the game. I guess you think if there's something you would be into, like I said, cyberpunk / film noir, with a really nice, cool visual style to it. But yeah, it's messed up. Now the more I think about it, it's like, wow.
All right, Collector, you said you had 2 more. Collector.
Oh, my turn, yeah. Sorry, I unplugged my headset because I will play State of Mind at one point.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I didn't listen. It's fine, do I? One game is the original Half-Life. I don't know how many people have played or even completed that game. One moment came into my mind when I first played. It's when you actually, it's just beginning. You get off the train, you go to your job and stuff. And in terms of like the context of you saying, where you knew something was going to end badly, but you were forced to do it anyway to complete the level or objective. In order to set into motion the entire game, you have to essentially push this crystal into this machine, this reactor. And the scientists are saying, do it very slowly now, do it very slowly. What's wrong, Gordon? Why aren't you doing it? Come on, move along. And if you stand there and do nothing, they'll keep on badgering you to do it. So I remember when I first played it, I'd done it really slowly. You push it in, and no matter how you push it in, you can do it like really fast or really slow. The whole machine goes nuts, or the whole building comes down. You have to escape and everything, and that sets off the whole event. But I remember once again reloading my save and trying to push it in really slowly because I thought I messed up by pushing it too fast. I said. Yeah, I did it. I didn't care.
I'm back.
What?
What happened to Clock that?
Oh, clocked it cut out?
I think I killed him.
What? I heard him. I heard him all the way through.
Anyway, right? But yeah, that happens.
What was that?
Fucking Retro's fault. That happened at the beginning, and then at the end of the game, spoilers everyone for the original Half-Life if you haven't played it. Spoilers.
Maybe it'll come to Switch, so you better not spoil
the original game. Fucking hell, that was coming to the Dreamcast. Never mind. But yeah, at the end of the game, you're given 2 options. You meet the G-Man, and you're given 2 options. One is to join him, and G-Man, you don't know who he is. He seems, you don't trust him whatsoever. You're given 2 options: either join him, or basically face your death amongst hundreds of aliens. And I remember I didn't trust him so much. I was like, I'll go against the aliens, against certain death. And you get thrown in there, but the game just blacks out and you can't do anything about it whatsoever. So it's basically game over. Whereas compared to if you accept him, then you get the ending as it's meant to be and stuff. But I was forced into 2 situations where I didn't like either option. I didn't like G-Man, and I didn't want to die. I wasn't given the option to just jump off the train or try to kill him or something. So yeah, that was one of them there, and the other one was the famous scene from Chrono Trigger. Spoilers. I don't know how to say spoilers for every fucking scene. In Chrono Trigger, where no matter what you do in the festival at the beginning of the game, and I learned this after I restarted Chrono Trigger to try and do this. When you go to court, anything you've done in the festival, they bring up as evidence against you. It's an amazing scene, and I remember the second time I'd done it, I was like, I'm going back. I'm not having that because they mentioned the apples and stuff like that. I went back, done everything perfect, and no matter what, they still send your ass to jail. They still find like some excuse and stuff. It's like, isn't it hilarious?
False choices.
Yeah, I know it's a false choice, but it was a false choice that made me restart it because I knew something bad happened. I was like, right, I'm going to go to jail. I don't want that. So I made the effort to restart the game. It's not like crazy long into the game. So I restarted, and it did make a blind bit of bloody difference. So
I have like a really small one and
make
a
it quick.
big one too. Still,
we'll go to the big one because we're moving on after.
okay. Well, so my big one and massive spoilers. I'm especially wanting T because I think he still wants to play it for A Way Out. And A Way Out is is the perfect fucking co-op game, couch co-op game. I love that shit. There's 2 characters. And I played it with my brother. You come to the prison, you have to escape the prison together. There's scenes where you're driving, racing together. There's scenes where you're shooting together. You do everything fucking together. But you're learning about these characters. So major spoiler again. Halfway through the game, I started to think, what if the final boss of the game is going to be my fucking brother? And that's what the game is doing. It turns out, I won't say too much about the story, but in the end, I'm fighting my brother, and he's sitting next to me on this couch, and it's so well done. It's so well set up. The whole thing, I get goosebumps just fucking thinking about this shit. So you're on this fucking, in the rain, in the storm, you're fighting, and the final battle, the final boss is each other. So he has to kill me, or I have to kill him. And I think of everything we went through, to the whole game, from the escape to the family shit, the stories of each of the characters, and then it winds up in this insane scene where you're shooting each other. I'm like, I don't want to fucking kill my brother. I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to beat him to beat the game. But he's shooting my ass. He's shooting at me. I'm running away. I'm like, I don't want to shoot him. He's shooting at me. I don't want to fucking die either and shit. So this massive, insane fight ensues, and I just fucking won by a hair, because in one of the rounds I hit him a little bit more, and his health was more down, and it was the most beautiful fucking experience I ever had, and I hated doing it. I'm watching my brother. I'm like, I don't want to fucking kill you and shit. He's like, fuck off. He's shooting at me and shit.
That's actually a really cool idea.
Like, it's really fucking well done, and I felt that was a perfect example of what you were asking for.
Yeah, only that you knew it was coming. If you hadn't known, then obviously you wouldn't.
No, I didn't know it was coming. Halfway through the game, I was saying, like, I want this to be the ending.
Not that you knew it, but you kind of.
No, I didn't know. When it happened, it blew my mind, and then the adrenaline kicked in. I was like, I can't fucking do this and shit, you know?
So, yeah, so basically, I don't know if anybody's given any examples where it, like, made the game bad for you. I don't know. That's kind of what the reviewer, that was the thing that she couldn't get over for the game. So, and T, I think we said must have been off air last week. You're like, I'm curious what Juice is gonna think when he gets to whatever point in this game where people find controversial, where you either get with it or it ruins the game for you. And so I'll let you guys know how I feel about it once I get to it. I'm sure it's going to be obvious. I didn't read about it, so I have no idea. I'm just saying that it seems to be like it's going to be obvious to me. So any of these games where you felt like it was bad for the game or ruined the game?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mention more modern games, like Mass Effect and stuff like that, which is one of the biggest travesties to gaming in terms of ruining an entire trilogy. How an end,
because they made the things you had to do in that game were things that you didn't want, like ruin the story for you or something.
It's not even just ruin the story. The whole game was about choice, building up through the entire trilogy for the final chapter, and then at the end they gave you 3 choices which were all virtually
trash,
exactly the same,
yeah,
and absolute garbage. And because of that, I never went back and played through the entire trilogy ever again, because you knew that when you got to the end, there's going to be absolutely.
That's just pointless. Like a movie when you get to a bad, when they, like Game of Thrones, I was going
to say Game of Thrones.
They botched that ending so bad that I don't even want to restart. Even though the first 3 seasons are still absolutely phenomenal,
amazing,
I just can't. I just don't care anymore. So yeah, I mean, maybe I did read some reviews and they were all spoiler free, and this person was like, I got to this point and I didn't think I wanted to keep playing. He's like, but man, I was glad I did, because at the end, I was glad I stuck with it. So it does seem like it's something pretty extreme that turns people off, and it's whether you get over it and stick with it, and it don't, at the end you're glad you went through the experience or not. I guess that depends on the person. But
this wasn't my experience, but I know a lot of people, and this is a way old game. You get to this turning point, and you're like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing that. Done. Like, I know. I'd probably bet that half the people who played this game didn't even finish it because of this. And I'm talking about Jet Force Gemini. There's a point in Jet Force Gemini you get to, and he's like, oh, I'm getting ready to go fight the final boss. I went through all these worlds and blah blah blah, and you get to this point where, and I don't care about spoiling it. It's spoiling, but come on, Jet Force Gemini, you ain't played that, you ain't playing it. So you have to get this machine part to fly your ship to fight the final boss. But the guy, I can't remember his name, is a little teddy bear guys. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. He
Tribals.
says, well, yeah, what are they? Tribals, yeah. Is so generic I couldn't remember. He said, well, in order for me to give you this part for your ship that you need to go fight the Mizar at the end, you got to go back and save every fucking tribal in the game. Because they're in bunches throughout all the worlds in the game, and you have to save them. You can make mistakes sometimes and shoot them by mistake, and you got to start over or whatever. Basically, so you get to this point, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I have to go back through every world in this game to collect tribals before you give me the part, and you can't get around it. You have to do that to beat this game." And I can see a whole bunch of people like, "Fuck this! I'm ready to finish this game." I'm like, I guess you probably by then you're probably 15 hours or so into the game.
That was like when I
going
realized
back through every fucking level to collect tribals. Why didn't you tell me I had to do that shit from the beginning?
there's
then I
another
would've been
game
doing
that
it.
had that where some because I was so thorough, I had everything.
Yeah.
It might have been like Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's not the one I was just thinking of for where I didn't have to do it. But that one had a lot of stuff where like, oh, you gotta go do these missions to continue the story. If you didn't go out of your way to like do every side mission, you had to go back and do a lot of stuff. But there was one in particular where I know people complained about. I'm like, shit, I didn't even encounter that because I gotta search and find everything I can on each level, So,
Right.
But anyway, that was, pretty interesting to hear everybody's thoughts on the topic, and I'll let you guys know without any spoilers because it is a new game. When I get to that point, that I feel like it's that point, maybe
You'll definitely know.
I'll have
You'll
to.
definitely know.
Okay, that's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
you'll know. For
It
sure.
sounds like it's pretty hard to miss. So
Yeah.
but I'm 3 hours in and I'm absolutely in love in the game so far. I haven't had enough like encounters with like we had to take out a group of people or anything. It's only happened a few times so far, but I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward to playing it. Hopefully, it doesn't hit me the way where it ruins the game for me. So, but let's get to these questions. We didn't talk about it, so this is this perfect question. He didn't ask it directly, but it will bring up a leak about PS5 pricing. But he said last time Sony tried to do a digital-only PlayStation was the PSP Go, which I forgot about. Do you think the PS5 digital edition will work out better? Do you think it'll be cheaper than the disc drive? Obviously.
It better be.
The rumor is it's $100 cheaper. And whether I think I seen, well, it was a leak apparently, where it was $400 for the digital and $500 for the base, and then I seen somebody say it was $600 for the regular and $500 for the digital. I was like, no fucking way they'll do $500 for a digital only. I'm gonna lean. I was thinking $400 for the digital and $500 for the regular. So what do you guys think? We didn't really talk about it too much last week. The digital edition. Do you think it'll have any kind of success, or do you think it'll just be forgotten like the base model Wii U and the Xbox Arcade Edition and having a hard drive where it's just like gets phased out because not a lot of people buy it?
I think it'll be
Pretty
30 to 40% of the sales actually, because a lot of people are like, I don't want the clutter. I'd rather just be able to start my games and not have to be finding discs and all this kind of stuff.
I think it looks
You have
significantly
people
better.
You have people who fucking they buy a game, they take out the disc, they throw away the booklet and the box, that
Yeah,
kind
they
of
throw that
shit,
shit
you
away
know?
like it's trash.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you have that more than you think. I think like what T said, it's gonna be like 50%, if not more, the digital one. I doubt there's gonna be $100 difference though. I'd say maybe 50. I don't think 100 seems a lot.
I just think the 100 is going to be to try to entice you to
I
buy
think it needs to be 100.
It has
I think
to, yeah.
it probably will be, but
price,
it's gonna.
the price will be the biggest factor.
because that way they can make a shit ton off all the digital games you'll have to buy.
Right, because they make more money if you buy the digital version, because you're buying digital games. They get a bigger cut, so they can take a little bit of a loss even on the digital version.
Shit, they'll make
they'll
up.
make more money.
Yeah.
I
on
bet
the
you they'll
game.
make up the loss with 2 games.
Yeah,
One
they'll probably make it
first
up with 2 to
party
3
and one
games.
third party, because they make
Yeah.
a decent chunk off of third party, and then they don't have the sales. Don't hit that often on the store. Eventually, they like when a game goes down, permanently, it's like I was looking at like The Last of Us Remastered or whatever was $20 everywhere. It's $20 on the store. Then it went on sale at 10. It was 10 at the store. So I mean, they're pretty good about having sales in line with the physical, but you're still gonna. It's not like you can jump on Amazon or Best Buy, take advantage of a like $15 price cut that's just for the weekend or something. It's not like you'll get that with the digital. So I think it'll be at least $100 difference. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $550 for the disc version and $400 just to try to entice people. No way I would, because it's like that's the only reason. I mean, I've been buying a lot of PS4 games with the notion that it's gonna be backwards compatible. So
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah,
a thing
you
as
lose
well,
backwards
where-
compatibility. That's another thing.
Well, I mean, had they confirmed? I mean, what they could do is a PS4 starter bundle in terms of that some of their bigger named games. If you buy the digital console, we'll give you 3 PS4 games, for free as digital downloads for your new PS5, and they will
Uncharted
be slightly
4.
yeah, but yeah, you can laugh, but it's still
Last of Us. No, I'm saying that's what they give you.
there's still games, and that could be a way to entice people to the digital version. Because I think it's obviously I mean, we were talking about this last week. This is, they're putting a big foot in the door, and they want this is what they want.
Isn't that what Jack Ryan said? Is that his name, Jack Ryan?
Yeah,
The Sony guy.
He
said he was talking about cause they were trying to get the price out of him. How much is it going to be? He's like, well, it's going to be a good value. He kept saying value. And I'm like, that's what it means. Free games. That's what value is.
they want this digital console to sell, and I think they're going to do something to really entice people to get that version, even more so than the main disc version. I reckon that's how I feel.
Well, they did show the disc version first at the reveal, so but I could still see them pushing that harder. But at the same time, I would actually go that route if I didn't have a 20 game collection on PS4. Most of them physical. Like if I didn't care and just like sold my PS4 Pro or traded it in, and sold all my games, I would get at that point. I guess I don't. I mean, I like the physical and the fact that it's there, but at the same time, since everything needs to be installed, and I really don't have a good place to put my current games I'm playing. Like I don't have like a bookshelf or anything in my living room. I don't really want to put one in there, so I just kind of have them stacked, and it's just not that ideal. So I wouldn't mind going digital only, except for I do want to keep the games and be able to play them, the PS4 games I have. So that's a no-go for me. But I wouldn't be shocked. Like I think 30% is a pretty good guess, T, on the penetration of the digital edition or market share. Yeah. So
I think it'll be in the 30% size.
And since we're talking about next-gen consoles, where'd that question go? Malik asked, think the next-gen consoles will need a Pro version in the next 2 to 3 years? They definitely won't need one, whether or not they'll get one.
I don't think
that would be stupid, especially with the prices that they're going to be asking.
And I think
also their whole thing is fucking look how fucking.
Well, especially the Series X.
Future proofing. It's all about
the PS5.
They never really need it. It's just money.
Yeah, they didn't. We didn't really need. But once I got the PS4 Pro, I definitely feel it's a worthy option. Like I would recommend the PS4 Pro over the base model, even if you have a 1080p TV. It's just a better, more, but compared to the Slim, it's just a nicer system. I mean, it's just
only if it didn't sound like an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, if you get one of the early ones, yeah. I think the Xbox Series X absolutely won't need one, and I don't be shocked if they did a revision. If they did, it'd probably be year 4. I think PlayStation might have to. They'll definitely do a revision, because I think if any console since the PS3, other than the PS3s, need a slim version, need a smaller, compact version, it'll be the PS5. So at the very least, it'll get a revision. I don't know about, but then they're trailing in the power narrative, so I could see Sony pushing that a little quicker, feeling like they have to. Whether they actually do, I think they might feel like they have to. So what do you guys think of that?
Well, I think this is going to be, I don't know about Sony or Nintendo, obviously, but I think this is probably Microsoft's last console. So
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't even know if they're even going to like, worry about trying to push out another iteration.
Plus, they made
they already have the most power. What's the point?
And that's the thing to consider, because the Xbox One and the PS4, just like the Wii U, they were both rushed,
right?
And kind of feel like maybe they weren't even felt too late. I mean, the PS3, Xbox 360 generation went on a long time, so some people feel like not that the games were getting stale or anything, but I think just because that generation is the longest one we've ever had, some people felt like maybe they waited too long, but at the same time it felt rushed.
Well, the problem is Sony and Microsoft weren't making any damn money until way late.
Exactly.
In the system life. So they dragged it out probably longer than they wanted to, because they didn't make any money until late, and then they end up being too early with the next system in a way, because they wanted to make more money on the old stuff.
And the thing is, like, those systems really had it didn't really have a very like next gen leap, I guess you will, and the CPU, there just wasn't anything out there, and there just really weren't, like, especially I think the base model Xbox, just the design and everything just wasn't there. I don't think the PS4 was okay, but they just really didn't have. A lot of the first couple of years, people are saying, I don't see the leap in visuals. All the cross-gen games, we weren't seeing a lot. I don't think they really got the hardware out they really wanted. That's the hardware they could get out, not what they really wanted to. And I feel like, especially for Xbox this time, I feel like they're going way ahead of the curve as far as like what people realistically were expecting. I don't think anybody was expecting 12 teraflops or whatever, and all the bells and whistles it has. I think they're really putting all in with this one. I'd be shocked, honestly, if they did a variant that was more powerful. So I feel
outside of there was one game on Xbox. What was the Roman
Rise, Son of Rome?
Rise. Rise looked next gen. But it had last gen gameplay.
Probably fifth gen gameplay.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until Bloodborne probably on PlayStation before you're like, oh, now okay, now the visuals are catching up.
Yeah, it was Bloodborne that maybe get the PS4.
Yeah,
and I mean you got to give them credit, like the games they actually are putting out. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 on the base model PS4 is
it's gonna look better than most PS5 games.
There's no way. I don't think anybody in that first year in 2013 would have ever thought that PS4 would have gotten to that level of visuals based on what we were seeing, and they've really gotten a lot out of them. But at
Horizon or
Death Stranding, as much as who cares about the game, that's still very impressive visually, and it's like they've definitely gotten a lot more out of them than I thought the base model, but at the same time, they were pretty compared to the previous generation where the 360 came out. It was outdoing most, if not all, PCs that were out there for $400. And then the Xbox One comes out and it wasn't even as good as a mid-tier PC build, So, and then you got the Xbox One Series X coming out, and that's you're back in the realm of you really got to spend some money to be at that performance level. So I think it's a different scenario. I don't expect to see Microsoft. Sony, on the other hand, I could see them wanting to try to overtake power-wise and putting something out. But Daco Tree asks, who won E3 this year? EA won with EA Plays. We didn't talk about how Squadrons, how that game is not gonna sell. I mean, it might sell initially just because it's Star Wars, but that looks like a niche PC gamer type game to me.
You sound like a hater, juice.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like a X-wing versus TIE
that cockpit view the whole time. It just they were going in depth with, and I'm just I was getting bored, and it's
I find it very interesting, but
were you?
You got to be a Star Wars nerd. I think they'll care for that game. I think.
So
I keep saying I think with VR that'd be dope. If you have a VR headset, I think that's
I mean, it'd be cool to play at.
It'd be good to look at, but I'm saying the controls are very intricate. You're not going to be able to play that game in VR and enjoy it. I don't think, because
you're gonna be, dealing with thrusters and how much
Well,
weight
that's why it'd be cool in
and,
my.
and
That's why
shields in the front or the back, and like, yeah, it'll look, but now something. How can you actually play it when you got a VR headset on?
I know they have. Well, I mean, apparently, well, it is VR. The full game is playable in VR. That's what I mean.
This Samus mod for
Oh.
Breath of the Wild's quite funny, I find. It doesn't quite fit her.
What
She don't
the
fit the
hell?
aesthetic.
That
Sorry.
looks like N64 shit.
It's just the art style doesn't fit with the character
Oh.
model they have, whatever they
Yeah.
come up with. But hey, they tried. It's something.
I mean, come on.
It looks good in when you're selecting the outfits,
You
but
just sees the bikini and shit. Oh, looks
the
good.
base model just doesn't. That doesn't.
I
look
actually
like,
didn't even see the bikini because I kind of just started going.
the character model. It
Here
looks
you
fine right
did.
there in the normal
Choosing
Breath of the
the,
Wild clothes, but yeah, that doesn't look.
Oh,
That,
bare midriff.
That
Oh.
doesn't
Robert
really
is also
fit.
next level shit. I didn't even see the bikini.
I did.
I think the Zelda mods are way more like.
I was talking about no, keep going. No, you gotta scroll. Go to the see. He's on the opposite spectrum. I went to the other side, and there's a whole you could.
Oh, zero.
suit.
Wow, damn, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. I agree.
No, but then you could also ride one of the ships. I don't know the name of it. of
See,
her
this
ship.
is the stuff that blows my mind. How people can put this. I don't understand how
It's
they
more
get this in the game.
the beginning. It's like the 3-minute mark or something.
Why are these people making games?
Because like I
Mhm.
play Breath of the Wild, yeah, I have the resolution higher and stuff, but like to actually put Samus in the game and the gunship, that I just don't understand how they.
Well, I wonder if they like found some little code or whatever, because they were messing around with spaceship flight or whatever in early the builds of the
Mhm.
game.
Yeah, this actually in the suit, it actually looks pretty awesome. It doesn't fit with the game, but the suit itself fits the art
Yeah,
style.
No, but also no. Go to
Really good.
149. You go to
Hold
149.
on.
You drive the ship.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now I want
Oh, is it like a horse?
I want a third person Metroid game now.
See, like this reflect
I want to
doesn't
hear that
fit.
shit from you fuck other M haters.
Yeah, it's like a horse. That's funny.
Oh, wow.
But it reminds me. You know, it reminds me. I just thought of
third person without trash
the
story and
motorcycle.
controls.
I'm thinking of like.
Ooh.
This looks, yeah, this is funny, but you know way.
That's weird.
Okay, think about it. It's kind of like Starbucks Adventures. You
Wonder what physics they use to
I do like
do
this.
that.
a Zelda-like game.
I do like the zero. The zero suit outfit's not too bad, but it doesn't like. This is what you guys say.
There's
This
some Nintendo
this is the
Land
stuff I
level
don't like.
shit.
This is
Oh,
the cell.
Nintendo Land looks better than this.
This is the cell shading.
Oh,
turned off.
damn.
This
Ouch.
that's why it looks funny. They have the cell shading turned off, which that's where we start like agreeing where that to me changes the game to extreme. Like just removing some of the fog and stuff is where I kind of draw the line, but actually turning cell shading off,
This just doesn't look good like
No,
that.
it
It
just-
doesn't look good.
it doesn't look right.
I mean,
it looks like almost looks
that-
like honestly, it almost looks like Link's Awakening art style in 3D, like with looking at the character models and stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
say that it's bad though. I'm sure if there was a different game that looked like that, I'd be like, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So anybody see the Zelda mod
Which
where
one?
they put
Yeah.
playable where you can play a Zelda? I thought it was going to be available.
Mhm.
I couldn't. That's why I downloaded the emulator. But
I don't know. I didn't.
Not
it's
ready
using
yet.
the character model from the game and tweaking some, the costumes they show in the cutscenes and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, that one that fits. It doesn't fit the story, but at least it's already an existing character
They
model.
should have put Zelda in the game.
Well,
in
it
the
fits
game
Breath of the
plus.
Wild too, so it better be in there.
This isn't the video I thought where it kind of showed the different, like just a camera pan around.
Should
But
have been a
anyway.
new game plus option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something. If they added that, like you beat the game, maybe not my second playthrough, but a third playthrough, I would have definitely played a Zelda just because, it's just kind of a cool.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
You would have played it in the first place.
Nah, I mean, if they made it so that fit with the story, that's one thing. But just a mod
Yeah.
just to.
I
have
don't
you-
think they would. I think they would.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah.
All right, let's do one more question here. Would you rather see a Nintendo and Sony console where they partnered up, or a Nintendo and Microsoft partner up console?
Well, obviously,
Sony fucked
and
Nintendo
Sony.
already once with that.
I would say Nintendo and Sony. It's not even close.
I
Well,
don't know.
that almost
I was in
happened
Nintendo and Microsoft because then I would buy something Microsoft. was.
Yeah, I'd rather see more. I think that'd be a more interesting pair up, but Because at the very least, you'd think you'd have some really good online stuff, friends lists and messaging and all that. With Sony, who I think it might be left more to Nintendo's.
We'll get cinematic Mario on the quest to save his brother.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
like,
was
do
thinking
you really
that. I
want
was
that?
Peach is a two-timing whore, and she's cheating
Microsoft
him.
can't really do.
Jeez.
I mean, they have a
You
few.
really thought about this, huh?
Microsoft has some good IPs.
It's the Lord.
I just think I don't know. Out of those two options, I wouldn't want either. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Microsoft.
I would pick Microsoft Nintendo because Rare.
That's a good one.
Duh,
I was
man.
watching NVG.
That makes too
shout
much
out to
sense.
NVG.
I didn't think
He was
about
talking about how there's not going to ever be a N64 Mini, and that's why we haven't gotten one. One of the main reasons is that N64 emulation is really hard. It's still
Mhm.
so to get something affordable, to be able to play emulated N64 games, it's hard to do. And then he was saying, well, a lot of the best games are Rare games.
Yeah.
From the N64. So you're gonna have this N64 Mini with none of the classic Rare games on there. And I was like, well, they could probably fix that because Nintendo and Microsoft have been pretty tight
buddy.
lately. Buddy, basically. So maybe they
Where Nintendo
let them
takes all their
license-
games and Microsoft gets nothing.
exactly Microsoft gets nothing out of the deal.
Well, they get
And,
money out of it.
I mean, yes, I mean, I'm joking.
They get nothing for their fans. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Like if you're an Xbox
Um,
fan, you're not gaining anything. But as an Xbox fan,
No.
you wouldn't give a fuck about those kiddie
Yeah,
games.
but
Right, you don't care
It's
about those
just an
kitty
Xbox
tinky
game.
winky games anyway. So,
Those tinky winky ass games.
so why are you complaining? Because Nintendo is for kids, right? So why do you want Nintendo games? I don't understand.
Yeah, you want to talk about an N64 Mini feeling lacking like the PS1 Mini, where it's like people are like,
Yeah, I mean, they could put out something like
where's
that. Where,
fucking Banjo
half
1
the
and
games
2?
run
Where's-
like shit.
Where's GoldenEye? Well, that one probably wouldn't happen anyway.
Yeah. And
where's-
even then, the games wouldn't run well unless you price the Mini at like $150.
Mhm.
Because you have to have a special chip. You can't just throw a Raspberry Pi together and make all those games. I think all those games are going to run well because they don't. Like they don't run well. N64 games Nintendo wants quality. They don't want to put out
some of them
shoddy-ass
didn't
products.
even run well on the N64. Blah.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna run
Perfect
this
dark.
into the ground.
But they're like, if you watch emulated N64 games, they always have issues with sound or issues with just like loading, all kinds of stuff.
And Nintendo
So-
couldn't even do it on the GameCube. Where we were talking about the Zelda's Collector's Edition on the
Right.
GameCube. So Majora's Max, they couldn't get the sound right. They really
Yeah,
struggled.
and the N64 games on Wii.
People forget how young emulation still is for many consoles. It's
Yeah,
still a different.
So here's a bit of trivia. The last time I played Ocarina of Time was on the GameCube with that pre-order bonus disc.
Hmm.
That's
Really?
the last way I played it.
I played it for about 10 minutes.
I played it
I
all
was
the
like,
way
I want
through.
my N64 controller. Look at this.
I played it
Yeah,
all the way
didn't-
through.
I
Beat
didn't
it.
complete it on the GameCube.
I did.
Yeah, me neither.
That's literally the last time I played it. Last time I played the last boss. I can't remember if they. I don't think they changed anything.
You didn't play it? Oh, okay. You didn't play it on 3DS?
No. I'm waiting for the Switch remaster.
They did change some big juice. Like a lot of people know that they changed the Ganon boss fight at the end with simple things like where he's spitting green blood instead of red blood in the N64
Yeah.
original and stuff like that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, nothing like. I don't think they let. I can't remember because the last time I turned on the N64, I mean, I put it in for a few minutes just to. It was a few years back, probably 6-7 years ago now. I plugged in the N64, and I remember having to press down on the yellow camera button to aim up, and I struggled with that. And I don't remember if that's how it worked on the GameCube, where it just basically copied that same inverted
I
control.
don't remember at all what they done on there.
But I still have. I don't have a cords to hook my GameCube up in anything. But I still have the GameCube, and I still have that game. But I
You
never.
don't have what?
I don't have the cords to hook up a GameCube
You don't
video.
have power? You don't have.
I got the power. I
Look
just
at
don't
the
have
one,
video cords.
I'll send you some video. I have a bunch of them, mother.
Do you? I remember
Yeah.
Super Nintendo ones would plug in. That's.
They work too. They work all the way up
But
to
I cut
Wii, right?
I cut the video.
No, not the Wii. I don't think the Wii used a
No,
different.
no.
No, I'm saying they work up to the Wii.
Yeah.
The AV
sorry,
cords.
Because I had cut the yellow wire off because I had the component video, and then you needed the analog audio, and I was like, I don't want this white or the yellow plug just dangling, so I pulled the wire all the way off and cut it at the base, so it just plugs in. It's just all I can get is audio. That was, and then I sold my component video cord for like 200 and it was like 230. Like that was 2 years ago after I bought my truck. I was like, man, I need some extra money.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. So time
flies.
Well, time flies. I was thinking about it's 15 years since I helped my buddy finish a theater room in his house, like full on, like fully acoustic treated, you know, everything, front stage, curtains, everything. And it's been 15 freaking years since I did that.
It doesn't feel like it at all. I bet.
Every time I do any kind of spray adhesive, 3M 77 spray adhesive, it takes me right back because we were gluing a lot of fabric kind of back in the day. So every time I just recently was spraying something just to glue something down, and I was like, man, it took me right back. But anyway, one last question. I think this is the question people ask every generation. Deku Tree, I don't know how old you are. I'm guessing based on your question. I guess it's a bad assumption, but maybe he's younger. I don't know.
No, I think he's around like close. He's like in between me and Robert.
Okay.
Like, I think mid-20s.
Do you think graphics will reach a point where systems such as the PS4 or Xbox One will look bad in comparison to current graphics and people won't be able to revisit them? I feel like every generation people feel like, oh man, this is not going to get any better. There's no way they can get any better. You know, it's like,
yeah.
And you know, there's no way you thought Uncharted 2 would look bad someday when that first came out. And it's like
I still don't think it looks bad.
I had to recuse myself because I don't feel that way about any console right now. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and I thought
honestly,
that'd be
I
interesting.
I could put myself in the game. I just don't. I don't know. It just doesn't affect me. Like
I would say it's not like it looks terrible because I played Uncharted 2 3 years ago. I want to say, right before I got the PS4. Yeah,
I have to take it back. I have to take what I just said back because I can't go back and play Atari.
Yeah, I mean
2600 games and shit no more. Like
Atari, I feel like is the only one though.
PS1 games.
Some games I can play, but
some of the 3D PS1 games with the wall warping and stuff, it's pretty tough. But I would say Uncharted 2 wasn't that it looked bad. I was like, man, this looks good for a PS3 game, you know, like. But then you see the character models and like the, especially like GTA 4, you know, and their joints are like.
It's so funny you said that. I'm playing it right now on PS4. I'm playing the Uncharted trilogy, and I'm like, man, I don't remember looking this. It's janky. Like, look at some of this.
Like the elbow and
knee
joints
and like the character models. Like, ooh,
there's a lot of
they start to look old now. But I think for a lot of people, even for that generation, you can see it now with the PlayStation 3. How many people go back and play? People talk about Uncharted 2. No one mentions Uncharted 3, and no one especially mentions Uncharted 1 because it's not just because of the graphics; it's because the games were just average. They were always average, and now people realize it, and then they're not going to go back and play those average ass games. You know, there's only a few games that always survive from these types of generations. It's like no one. How many people will go back and you know love up the original Gears of War? Everyone talks about the second game. No one talks about the third game or the first game. You know,
the third game was just so redundant.
Go back and play
those. They'll talk about the fourth and fifth game.
Yeah, you know, so it's more. I think it's just more the games. Whereas where we talk about going back and playing Wave Race and Ocarina of Time and and all these games, a lot of these games are still just really really fun to play and still age really well. You talk about the Atari, you could still go back and have a 5-10 minute blast on space.
Certain games, certain
games, certain or like they were trying to do things.
And the PS1, you're talking about Warped Textures. I still play the hell out of Ridge Racer Type 6, and there's still loads of PS1 games I play, but it's because those games were always good, so you can go back and play them. So I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, I'll always go back and play Uncharted too. No problem.
I definitely want to
have fun
play it on the Nathan Drake.
It's just fun. It's set piece after set piece. It's good stuff.
Like the Nathan Drake collection, apparently they made the aiming a lot more, easier because of the analog stick for one being not trash.
It's still pretty trash though.
But
like I'm playing it right now. It's still not great.
Yeah, I can simultaneously say like, man, this was really impressive for PS3, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's starting to age. It's not looking amazing. So I guess I can see both sides. But
For me, I've
The scene reminds me of Terminator Dark Fate.
never really viewed games like that, man.
But I mean, it's just like, what the fuck is that? I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
People will say the same thing now against the Xenoblade remake, because even that now, you have to admit that it looks dated even compared to what people expect from what video games look like today. It's still got blurry textures. It's still a Wii game at heart in terms of controls and all that stuff. But what helps Xenoblade is that it's still a fantastic RPG.
Well,
so
what I do find funny is that something like right now it's shown Uncharted. I feel like a game would release today and that would be called like cell shaded. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, what is this?
That's just because the textures, have come so far as the clarity that it almost.
Is this an indie game?
But no, I feel like indie games would come out this like today with that type of
That's what I'm saying. People would look at Uncharted 2 and be like, is this an indie game today?
You know what I'm saying? But it's just because we have the big budget behind it is when people start to be like, what the fuck is this?
I'm looking at the comparison between the remaster, and they didn't do. It's not a night and day, not a massive overhaul. You can tell right here. They just clean.
They didn't hit the remaster button.
No, this is a port. Really, is what it looks like. I don't think they called it. They just called it Nathan Drake Collection. I don't think they ever deemed it as a remaster, because it's definitely. And it almost looks blurry. This looks blurrier. I don't know if it's
that looks blurrier.
This definitely looks blurrier on the PS4.
I think they're trying to do anti-aliasing, so sometimes it makes it a little bit.
Yeah, but that looks pretty blurry.
Ew.
So like the foliage and stuff is just it does look cell shaded. This was realistic graphics back then. This looks totally cell shaded. Like you're right, Robert.
Those animations.
This looks like cartoon. Like it looks like they were going.
People have said that about the first Last of Us now in terms of it looking more cartoony.
Useless ass crosshairs is useless.
This guy trying to aim.
You can't aim with this shit, man.
But anyway, let's get out of here. Good discussion, good questions, and we've been getting a lot of like stuff, like a lot of announcements. I didn't even know about the Jeff Keighley stuff, so I hope it keeps going. All the gaming
summer games, man.
Yep.
Summer games.
I think. Who knows when the next direct will be? It's funny how Sakurai mentioned like games potentially being delayed and stuff like during his the end of his at the Smash thing. He was just talking about gaming in general with the coronavirus. Like people might, I forget how he phrased it. Basically, just saying they're working.
Affect sales.
Well, you're saying that things will get delayed, like things that were supposed to probably.
That's what I kind of thought. I was like, man, is he being a spokesman for Nintendo right now, or just gaming?
I felt like, honestly.
Well, we did hear reports that I believe. I mean, these are just I say reports. This is just little flickerings around, but we did hear that Nintendo have actually struggled to work from home in terms of their games development because they're not used to it at all. So
I mean, they send in equipment to Sakurai and shit. Tell them do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be so Nintendo though that they struggle the hardest from working at home?
It's ridiculous, but it's Nintendo, man. We love them.
I'd be curious to see if Halo Infinite actually makes it out this year. I don't know that it would have anyway because I just feel like they didn't have
launch day. That was the whole point.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out the same day as the system, but then Phil Spencer said that they're not gonna delay the system for a game.
Oh yeah.
So, but
what game?
Halo Infinite.
Man, that game don't come out day one. They can get out of here with that.
But anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Another fun podcast. We'll see you next week.